Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another glorious episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends. And of course, besides the PGG crew that you know and love, we also have two incredible guests joining us. And we're going to get to the intros momentarily. But folks, man, what a year to be an Xbox fan, and more specifically, what a time to be a Master Chief fan and a Halo fan, because my God, 343 Industries has done it. They have crafted what I believe to be not a perfect game, but one of the highest reviewed games that I've ever personally reviewed for. I gave it a 10 out of 10. We're going to be doing a live review. Obviously, if you missed it, I dropped a new X vlog today at about, I think it was 2 o'clock. It's episode number 5. It was the Halo review, episode, and a lot of people really dug what I was saying. Did get some pushback, like I expected, because people are always wondering how you can give a game a 10. And in the video, I explained that the game is not perfect. It is not. Both multiplayer and single player have its issues that are being addressed, but that does not make it not a 10. Again, just because it's a 10 doesn't mean it's perfect, but we're going to get into everyone's review live on the air. We're going to be talking about the big multiplayer update that is coming this week, and SWAT is returning. A lot of people are super excited for that. I am not, because I don't like SWAT, but I do like all of the other Slayer updates that we will be getting, and I'll be breaking down exactly what is coming this week. And of course, to open up the show after introductions, we are going to be talking about the Matrix demo, the Unreal Engine demo that has not only surprised everyone, it just goes to show you that market share value is incredibly important. And many years ago, many gamers, even the ones that are in the know, thought that Destiny was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Well, it just so happens that that same demo released on PlayStation 5, and even I didn't know it. I had to ask my very good friend Kay Asante. I was like, did this release on the PlayStation 5? He's like, yeah, he did. I'm like, well, you see, that's what happens when you lose the market value, because no one cares about PlayStation right now. And I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying that right now, PlayStation, they just don't have what we want as gamers. But let's get into the introductions. And first, all the way from the beautiful state of Hawaii, our very good friend Bango Mango making his return appearance. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
My man, boom. Aloha, brah, as we say from the islands of
Aloha.
Hawaii. Thank you so much for having me back on again. It's a pleasure. I just want to say a shout out to the panel. Wandering Dutch, I call him Boss Man now, ever since he nicely has led us into the collective. Boss Man, how you doing, brother? The one and only Kia Sante, the one and only Mag. Hello, bros. And Sour Blow Gaming, it's a pleasure. Big fan of
Pleasure.
you and what you do, bro. And excited to see your face in person now and to be talking all things Halo. To the chat, to the panel, how's it? What's up? Excited to talk about all things gaming today, Boom. Thank you again, bro.
Well, my pleasure. And of course, not to be outdone, making his first appearance, Gomez Star. What's up, brother? It is Sour Blow Gaming. We've been talking back and forth. It's great to finally have you
Yes.
on. Love what you do in this community. We got to get people more people to sub to your channel, more people to listen to your work. How the heck are you? And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Boom, for having me here. And I truly appreciate it. I have a small channel. Basically, it's a Spanish speaking channel. However, I'm
Nice.
trying to build that Spanish community. And I gotta say that you have been one of the YouTuber that actually has inspired me to
Oh,
do this.
thank you.
So
That's very
thank you
kind of
very
you to
much.
say. Well,
And thank
listen,
you for the whole panel. Sorry, in the chat.
No. Listen, it's first of all, the kind words just are extremely humbling. I am glad to that that's somehow the work that I do has inspired you to do your own channel. And like I've said before, the point of me having my channel, one of the most important aspects of building this channel was taking the community and raising everyone that wants to be a part of the community that we know and love. And if that can help you get subs by you being on the show, then I'm doing my job as a host. And of course, that is what the end goal is, besides us hanging out and, and gushing over Halo. But we will come back to you momentarily. Let's continue in with our panel, our regular primetime gaming brothers, Kay Asante. You and I talk. I think we talk more than I talk with my own brother, for crying out loud. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Oh, I am doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for everybody for showing up. The panel, great guests as usual. Mango, welcome once again. Sour Blow, I've been keeping an eye on you, man. You blowing up in a big way around here, so I appreciate you being here. This is great. We're going to talk a lot of Halo today. We've been talking Halo for seemingly like a week now.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem to get old, just like the game. So I'm excited. This is good.
Yeah, it's funny. I just checked my total playtime with Halo and Halo multiplayer, and I'm at 3.5 days so far.
Ooh. See, I'm not quite that far. I'm 2 days and 18 hours. So it's not that far.
Well, I'm level 52 in the battle pass, which I will finish that battle pass hopefully by the first quarter of next year. I'm going to get those 48 levels, and I am going to finish that battle pass. But man, the single player campaign has its hooks in me in a way that I go to sleep thinking of Halo. I wake up thinking about Halo, and when I'm not playing Halo, I'm thinking about Halo. It's crazy. It's madness how good this game is. But listen, we're going to continue with the introductions. Next up, the best beard in the business, our very own Viking, Wandering Dutch. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah, I'm feeling great. I am really looking forward to talking about Halo Infinite. I have got a review thing that I'm planning on putting up on my channel soon. I've recorded every part of the campaign bar the last kind of ending section.
Okay, excellent.
So I've got lots of footage to go into it as well. Decent footage, nice 4K 60 image. But I can't wait to talk about for the first time today, because I haven't mentioned anything on social media, anything on Twitter about my thoughts on the game. So I'm looking forward to talking about it with you guys on everything from story to gameplay and everything in between.
Yes, we're gonna get into it, and that's why we're probably going to get the two topics, because, well, there's a big panel and it's Halo, and everyone's going to have their time to shine and talk about what people are calling their game of the year. It's certainly my game of the year for sure, but not to be outdone. And someone that has this Halo blueprint, folks, was literally made for the mag. He told me privately that he's been in contact with 343, and they specifically made this game for him. So and now everyone else can enjoy it. Mag, how you feeling about that?
Oh, man, you know what? I got to tell you, I know we're going to get into it when you get into the show. However, I got to say that Halo is definitely, they've done it the way that I like to play my games, right? Yes. But we'll get into it when we get into talking. But, guys, we got a great show tonight. Panel, look at what we got going on here. We got Bango Mango here. And let me tell you something. I'm not happy with you right now. You know why? You're wearing an undershirt, and I'm wearing a parka with the fire on, okay? And I got to tell you something. I can't wait for global warming. Everybody's scared of it. I can't wait, because guess what? Then I'll be wearing the undershirt, and it'll be snowing in Hawaii. So anyways, all joking aside, great to see you. Sour Blow Gaming, look what we got going on. You know what? As soon as I heard that name, I thought of something funny, and I'm like, you know what? If you were an Xbox hater in 2021, man, this was a year you just got a sour blow. So you know what? Anyways, guys, enough joking around. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of great things to get into. Dutch and Kay Asante. Oh, by the way, if you haven't checked out Boom's X vlog, I watched it today while I was taking a small break in the kitchen, so I got to check it out.
Thank you, sir.
Please go check it out. It's like as honest as it gets, man. It's like sitting down with somebody and just listening to their honest thoughts, as opposed to like just reading it from a script and like, I'm here for subscribers, I'm here for super chats. You know what I mean? Like it's actually like an honest man's opinion. So go check out his X vlog.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Those are shot from the hip. There are no scripts with most of them. Only when I have a lot of notes that I need, like specific dates and times, I'm gonna have that in front of me on the teleprompter.
You feel it. Like you feel like it's genuine. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm telling you, people, go check it out. It's not like, they're just there like being a cuck for like the money or whatever, right? Like it's like a dude sitting down, he's talking, and he's talking straight from the heart. You guys got to go check it out. But anyways, back to the show, guys. Let's have a great show.
Well, thank you so much for the vote of confidence, and thank you for checking it out, dude. I'm glad that I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and it was obviously a good time to get away from work. So
Yes,
and it was long. It was supposed to be 12 to 15 minutes. Wanted to be
it was like
almost
24 minutes,
Yeah,
Boom. That was crazy.
It's a little longer than I thought, but I couldn't stop talking about Halo, and that's what we're gonna. But before we get into the Halo topic, that's going to be on the back end of the show, folks. We got to talk about the Unreal Engine 5 demo that came the way of the Matrix. It was absolutely stunning. The highway scene I watched multiple times, and I was looking for the imperfections to see where we could figure out it went from cinematic to game, and you could not tell. It was just it was incredible. But what I think is more insane is the fact that the coalition helped co-create that.
Yes.
And that is very, very inspiring if you are someone that is looking forward to the next Gears of War, Gears 6, or whatever it's going to be called. And I was under the impression that this was the small demo that they're working on. Apparently, that not in fact is the case. They are actually working on a game, a smaller experience game, which I believe is going to be Gears in some form or fashion, maybe even a side story, a side mission. But they're doing that as well as Gear 6, and they co-created this incredible demo that was just a complete madness to watch. Keosante, what are your thoughts on what we had? And again, folks, I had no idea it was for the PlayStation 5 because, well, no one is talking about PlayStation, so that's why.
So,
market value, folks.
Let me preface this by apologizing now because to me, the Matrix is the greatest franchise ever made. Like, I remember where I was when I first saw it. I was actually living in the Netherlands at the time. I had the flip phone, the whole thing. So I'm in the bag for the Matrix. Matrix stand right here, first and foremost. Myself and Everborn as well. That's how we connect.
Me too,
my brother,
I'm right there with
myself. So I will geek out, and forgive me if you don't think it's that big a deal, but it was so exciting to me that they were doing this. What actually bothers me is that they didn't come out with a full game at the same time, because that's what they do, right?
Yes.
The first Matrix,
usually the game comes out right along with the movie, like the game did back in the days.
Exactly.
Which the game was
a lot
really
of people don't
good,
know,
by the way.
The first Matrix, that movie, that the game that came with it, had 8 hours of additional footage that they shot at the same time they were shooting the movie.
That is correct.
So between Matrix 1 and 2, you played getting to Matrix 2. So you got to meet a lot of characters you didn't see in the movie, and then you saw them in the Matrix 2. So they really they've always been able to fuse technology and entertainment in that way. It's very, very cool. So when I heard this was happening, I'm there day one, right? So that demo, in addition to the unrealness of it all, right? They basically were able to prove that, you see that thing that was the greatest thing you'd ever seen that took like 120 cameras shooting around you, like, to make it happen. Yeah, we can all do that inside Unreal now, and you can't tell the difference. I have seen that movie Matrix 1 specifically, more times than I can count, and I could tell the difference between the CG versus the real, but only when Keanu Reeves was walking around, I could tell. When they first started the whole thing and he was lying down on his desk and he had his headset on, and it's you see the scribe on the screen, I could have sworn that was reused assets from the movie.
Film.
Paused it, looked at it against the reel, and saw the desk situation was different. They fooled me. I have seen that thing more times than I can count, and they fooled me. Okay.
Here's another little aspect. I'm not sure if anyone did this. When you take control of the character in the city and you press the fly button,
you can fly all over the place.
Did anyone look in people's windows?
Yes, I was going to get there.
Holy shit.
I looked at the tallest skyscraper, at the penthouse of the tallest skyscraper, and you look in there and you can see a vase in the window. You can see flowers in the I
saw paperwork on the desk.
Perfectly rendered. Now, obviously, it's not that it was there before you saw it, they're using different streaming technology that basically anticipates where you're going to go before you get there. So by the time you get there, it's already been pre-rendered and all that. So it's the same as you see now, but at a much, much higher level, next gen of technology that makes it seem like all that stuff is there. Now we can talk about the details of the demo itself, but what's really exciting to me from a very geeky perspective is Unreal Epic, I should say, is giving that demo out to developers for free.
Yes.
And not only is it that demo, like just that demo is basically it's like the No Man's Sky of demos. It's pre-rendered, right? But it's a procedurally generated. All you do is you put in the assets. I want trees, I want this, I want that. You put in some specs and it builds the city around your specs. So anyone can go in and go, I want a small street, I want a neighborhood, I want a huge city, and it will pre-render all of that based on algorithms that are built in Unreal 5. So no two cities will be the same if you decide to use that tech, including the people, including the cars. So there's a world where some indie dude goes, I'm going to create Spooderman and basically put him into this world. And he's just, you can do that, right? And it looks better than Spider-Man's world that exists today. You can take the filter off of the green filter off of the Unreal Engine, the demo they showed, and it looks like a normal, hustling, bustling city. You can go to all these. It is unbelievable. Like I think I saw Digital Foundry do what they do with it, and even they were absolutely flabbergasted. How the hell can this run? How is this possible? Even on the Series S, it top notch, amazing. You can see everything is ray traced, of course. You can see reflections all over the place. They really took it there in all aspects. The only place where it's still a little bit off, and that's because it's still in demo phase, it still needs to be optimized a bit. So like when you're using it and you're playing with it, you can tank the frame rate pretty drastically. If you start like flying around with that drone really, really fast in the cities, you can start seeing it, chug down a bit. But that's because the thing is demo. It's not even officially out yet. Yes. And as with all things, as they are slowly progressing through the game, progressing through the engine, optimizing it, cleaning it up, you'll see that all that stuff gets worked out. But yeah, in general, that demo was absolutely, mind blowing. I don't know if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it's on everything. Well, on everything current gen, not last gen.
Right.
So you should definitely go check it out. One thing, and I've seen it, but I haven't really done any of the research yet. I'm pretty damn sure that between now and the time the movie releases, people will find secrets in that city, because every sign has a weird message. Yes,
that's interesting.
Like I said, I'm a Matrix dude, so as soon as you give me a Matrix world, I know they're hiding things, and they are definitely hiding things in this world. Like there are certain parts of the world where when you walk up to it, you see green, like a green thing pointing to signs, and you get close and it says, hey, there's a half pipe. There are things in the city there's a part that's just nothing but half pipes. Like, can you find it? And then you can go look around this huge world to try and find it. Every time you look at a sign at the top, it shows we promise free loot, and it's pointing arrows. There, I'm telling you, mark my words, there will be a time where they'll go, hey, and somebody discovered all this weird stuff in that Matrix world. It is there. You just have to go find it because, it's the Matrix. That city is huge.
It's
really hard to go. I spent I spent an ungodly amount of time just walking around, crashing cars. The person who you end up walking as once the demo is actually done, that's also auto-generated. It's not a human. It's a meta-human based off of Unreal 5 tech. So they basically generated that face. I was talking about it with Slow-Mo. Shout out to finally getting black hair right. Salute to that, because that has been such a difficult thing that gaming devs have either not wanted to deal with or could not deal with. And this thing does it effortlessly.
Nice.
We had to stop for a moment and go, you see those cornrows? Yeah, that's how it's done. So yes. It is absolutely perfect, and supposedly through some research when you do the reading, they even not this demo, but Unreal 5 in general will even run on the Switch. So you should expect to see this thing everywhere. You know,
Wow.
it's good. It's very exciting times. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's bring in Wandering Dutch in the conversation. Obviously, you're a man of tech. This is impressive. It's impressive for a lot of reasons, specifically for Xbox. Not that Sony or Nintendo are not going to use Unreal Engine 5, but Senua's Hellblade 2 is going to be Unreal Engine 5, which is very interesting. And we're going to get our first. We got a first shot of it during the Game Awards. People are still talking about that demo. I believe that demo stole the entire show. I don't know if it specifically was Jeff's idea to get it out there first, but as great as the show was, it was hard for anything else to compare. It just was literally a mind blowing. But getting back to the Matrix demo. This is we know that Microsoft, for a lot of their games, are going to be using Unreal Engine 5. We know that, again, Hellblade 2 is one of them confirmed. What do you think about this demo? And should Xbox gamers get very excited because, well, the future is literally in front of our eyes?
A few parts to this one, because I'm as much as I love technology in the demo, I always prefer seeing it in practical. So seeing developers work on it as opposed to seeing an engine tech demo. Now, obviously, this one was a little bit different because it was in collaboration with the Coalition, which helped them produce this Matrix demo.
And that should get everyone excited, because could you imagine what the next years is going to look like?
But at the same time, I think, and everybody has said this over the last generation anyway, the Coalition are pretty much masters of maximizing Unreal as an engine anyway.
If you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because when Rod Ferguson brought Gears with him to Black Tusk, he brought a bunch of Epic guys who had made Unreal, and they're still there. So if you are Epic and you need Unreal turned around real quick, who do you go to? The people who helped make it. Coalition. Yeah, it makes sense.
So it wasn't specifically the engine demo, the Matrix demo, that's got me excited. It was actually seeing the in-engine, the game engine itself running Hellblade 2 that got me more excited than the Matrix demo. I say that specifically because we've seen across many years the engine itself being tested and shown off in a technical aspect when it comes out. And it's never always realized to its full extent until the very end of the generation. So as much as the Matrix demo is amazing to see what happens in the future, what I want to see is more the practical side of it. So what are these developers doing with it right now? And we got that pretty much the same time, because Hellblade showed off the first game that is using
6.5 minutes OPS, by the way.
Yeah. The first game that's using the Unreal Engine 5. We know the vast majority of developers now are transferring over, if not already working on Unreal games now, for the newest technology. However, seeing it more implemented in a game space as opposed to just on a tech engine, that was what got me excited. Like I say, primarily just because we've seen Unreal Engine 1, 2, 3, 4 all showing off in a technical aspect beforehand. And it's always great to see what the engine's capable of. But it's always much more refreshing to see that engine being put to use by the developers. So as much as I'm excited for what the engine is capable of, I'm more excited to see what the developers can do with it, because those tech engines, those tech demos that we see of these engines are never always created by game developers to show off the engine. They're created by the developers of an engine to show off an engine. So it's not something that where the imagination sparks and goes, oh, let's have a look at this and let's see what this can do and that can do and X, Y, and Z. So things that didn't impress me during the demo was like the basic stuff, like the shooting and the driving and the basic world physics and things that you could tell weren't developed by a developer.
Those were just there for fun,
just for the sake of it.
It wasn't your attention they were trying to grab with that.
Exactly, sure. And this is why I'm pushing more towards. I want to see how the developers do it and seeing what the immersive way that the Hellblade demo showed off what it could do, and how the game was currently looking. Obviously, that was just a 6-minute slice of what is probably going to be the largest developed game in the history of Ninja Theory. and obviously their most ambitious title. And seeing what they can do with that small slice was much more of an eye opener to me, because it shows, first of all, you couldn't distinguish and like the previous Hellblade game, it was never a distant difference between gameplay and then the cutscene. And same applied to this one. The CGI and the actual gameplay segment blended immaculately to the point where you couldn't tell what was the out of gameplay segment to the
Yes.
in gameplay segment. And
Yeah.
that's the part that's
Well,
got me
because there
excited.
was no prompts on the screen, you couldn't
Yeah.
tell if the player was throwing the spear, or that was I was going to say the film, if that was the actual cinematic, which is pretty impressive.
And that's the thing with Hellblade as well, obviously. And even on the first one, you didn't have any on-screen prompts until like certain segments and certain parts. So it's better for the immersion that way. And that's why again, Ninja Theory are my highest rated developer in terms of they are underrated to a vast degree on a technological level. I think that company will end up being probably one of the best in the industry, if not above Playground Games when they get into the swing of things.
No doubt about it. Yeah, Microsoft is sitting pretty with the Initiative and several of their developers. Ninja Theory being, I think, top. I think what we're going to eventually see from Ninja Theory is they're going to become the Insomniac, in my opinion, of Xbox. I think
The Naughty Dog, as you would say, the
yeah, maybe the
storytellers.
Naughty Dog. Yeah,
The
yeah.
storytellers. I wouldn't say, the reason I don't say Insomniac is because
They don't really do
they're a different studio
cinematics.
altogether. Yeah, they're a different studio altogether, though. They are fun gameplay, but they're wacky gameplay. When we're talking about like serious games with realistic details and things like that, you look at Naughty Dog. And
Yeah.
now, Xbox, of course, we had our shooters, but they're not realistic shooters. So we had our Gears of War, which was like, again, another futuristic alternate timeline. You had like you had Halo, which is like, as we see now, which and what we'll talk about, but that's a space shooter. So again, it's not like a realistic game, as it were. Whereas Hellblade is set years prior in, like, again, Viking era. Obviously, that is a realistic period of time. And likewise, the likes of Naughty Dog, the likes of The Last of Us, etc., is kind of a modern day dystopian issue where what would happen if a big virus took hold and killed off the world, and you had to X, Y, and Z. It's more a realistic based game, and that's where you see companies really push things, because you can have artistic free reign when things are futuristic. You can have artistic free reign when it's cartoon kind of games like Ratchet and Clank, etc., because then it's based around kind of more animation type that you would find in a Pixar movie, etc. And you don't have to worry about the level of detail in skin and things like that because it's artistic.
Right.
When you come into the detail, the nitty gritty, most realistic games, then you're looking at the likes of Naughty Dog and Ninja Theory, because they want to have the level of detail you can see with a fine tooth comb. And that's what I'm excited for. But yeah, in terms of the engine capabilities, I've spoken to a few indie devs and developers overall so far about Unreal Engine 5, and it really, for them, it's just how simple that engine is to use. Specifically coming across from Unreal Engine 4 is literally just pretty much pick up where you left off, but here's an extra bunch of tools you can use. That's going to make it so much easier for you to develop. So I think going forward, it's more the fact that these developers have now, as opposed to just the technology itself expanding and getting better, it's just how much easier it is for developers, both new and old, to create their vision for games going forward. And that's the exciting part of it for me.
I mean, again, you hit it on the head with Ninja Theory being, really seeing what a game could look like, and see how the transition from cinematic to gameplay back to transition. I couldn't tell. I honestly could not tell. A lot of people couldn't tell. Before I bring in our guests, I got to bring in the Mag. Mag, you are a cinema fan. Obviously, we know how much films mean to you. But what does this demo mean to you when you see how unbelievable the next generation is going to be in regards to storytelling, using the Unreal Engine 5 and having a team like the Coalition not only co-develop this demo, but we know that they are the masters of their craft. I could only imagine what Gears, the next Gears, whatever it's called, is going to look like. What are your thoughts on the demo and the fact that they helped co-create it?
Well, first things first is that the fact that the Coalition helped co-create it, that should have been played up a lot more. I
agree, 100%.
Like, they
kind of low-keyed that.
They very low-keyed that. I think that should have been front and center. They should have been very, very loud about it, very vocal, because you know how the other side does it, right? When the other side does it, they will tell you while you're sleeping, they will poke you and be like, hey, by the way, we did this. Right?
And they'll also put it on a basketball court.
And they'll put it on a basketball court. They'll put it on the they'll put it on the subways in New York when Spider-Man comes out. They got Miles Morales all over the subway stations and whatever else, right? They should have put that front and center. They should have made more of a big deal about it. And you know what I thought about as a missed opportunity was last year, you guys remember the Unreal Engine 5 demo they showed in the PS5 that everybody was like wetting their pants over?
Yes.
You remember that one? With the
girl,
the woman?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the rocks and all that stuff, and everybody's like, it's over.
The rocks.
Yeah. And
The
they're like, it's
SSD.
over. The generation's over. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they're like, Sony's doing this, but nobody else can. They did that because their messaging was outstanding. This is the power of the PS5. This is what our developers are doing. This is what Sony's bringing you next generation. This is what the PlayStation 5 can do. Yes. Buy it now or whatever. Get your pre-orders in, whatever, that kind of thing, right?
A quick aside, Mag, before I will let you continue. I just saw the super chat, and I also did a little bit of quick research, and it's absolutely correct. Technically, Senua Saga is not Unreal Engine 5. It is running on Unreal Engine 2.5 and 2.6 in beta right now. It will be 5 when it releases, but what they showed you was technically Unreal Engine 4.
Come on, man.
Are you kidding me?
It was originally implemented in 4.26. 4.26. They dragged it into Unreal Engine 5, so there is elements there that are in 5, but that was primarily built on 4.26.
Yep.
Jeez.
So real quick,
crazy.
Before we get into let Mag finish his point, I want to shout out. First of all, I'm going to catch up on the super chats momentarily, but I got to shout out Mr. Joanna Dark. Obviously, he's been on this show several times. He's an incredible community member. He obviously works for Microsoft. He has, folks, donated a Halo Infinite campaign code, which I will be giving away. I'm going to be drawing once we get into the Halo topic. Mr. Joanna Dark, thank you for the generosity, my brother. And of course, we're going to get to your super chat momentarily, but that is very kind. So that's right. Courtesy of Mr. Joanna Dark, someone tonight is winning a code for Halo Infinite campaign, which is pretty dope. But please, Matt, continue on your story, because there's a lot to get in here. And I really do. I'm glad you brought it up, to be honest with you, because I think they were too quiet about it, because I didn't know that they had until I read several articles. Like, wait a second, the Coalition had something to do with this? How come Microsoft wasn't screaming from the rafters? I don't know.
Like, I found out the day after. Like, same deal, Boom. I didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, I'm like, what? When did that happen? Like, why wasn't that front and center? Why weren't they on stage? Why wasn't it like, hi, guys, we worked on this with Epic and this and that with the other thing? They really should have brought that to light. Anyways, there might be, I look at some people, some of the comments in the chat right now, and a lot of people are saying, they could be doing that because of reasons. And that is possible.
Stake in PlayStation?
Yeah,
PlayStation
I don't know.
Minority stake.
Maybe they're working. Wow, there's that too. But maybe there's maybe they got something else going on. Maybe they got some projects that haven't been announced yet. Who the hell knows? I don't know. But anyways, I just personally think that they should have brought it a little bit more front and center, and they really should have driven the point home that this is what Team Xbox is doing. This is the potential. Anyways, what I'm going to get into here very quickly is that what I saw when I watched that and that I experienced it for myself at home was all I saw was potential. And it's potential for what we're going to see in the future, what can be done. And I didn't look at it as like, okay, I'm just going to play this fun little thing and just walk around the city and do this and that and look at vases through windows. I didn't care about that. What I was looking at is this is, and both Dutch and Asante said it, is that it's the potential of what can be done in the future, what we can see, the immersiveness of the worlds get to the point where it literally feels like you are walking around in a city and you are doing these things, and you will not be disappointed when you look down an alleyway and all you see is a polygon, right? You'll look down that alleyway, let's say, okay, in between a building, and you'll see a cat walking around. You'll see some garbage dumped over a dump. You might see a homeless guy drinking a bottle of booze, whatever, right? You might see all those things. And those are the little details that add to that realism and immersiveness that we've all been craving all the way back since the 80s when we've been playing the games. And what have we been asking for? Just bring it more realistic. I mean, obviously keep it fun. But at the same time, when you're getting to this, we're finally getting to that point where we can actually say, wow, this looks like real life. You remember when we said that in like 95 when like the first two movies came out?
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, it looks like real life. And I'm like, I don't remember anybody's chest looking like pyramids. But anyway, that's besides the point. The thing is, we really can say that now. We officially can say, wow, this looks like real life. Now, there is one thing I did notice: the difference between the reality and, of course, the rendered pictures. The only things I spotted were the skin color, like not the color, the skin texture. Excuse me, not the color, the texture of the skin. Sometimes in certain lighting, it looked just like Asante said. You know when Neo had his head down on the table, like from the first movie, and it says "Wake up, Neo" or whatever. Mm-hmm. That looked like straight out of the movie.
Yeah, it did.
All right. However, when he was in the car and some of the lighting hit his face, I was like, hey, like it kind of looked like plasticine for half a second. And
also the mouth movements a little bit sometimes. Just a little bit of the mouth movements. Yeah.
It's ever so slight is the mouth movement and the head movement. It looked a little too jerky. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you're like, and all of a sudden he's like, Trinity, and I'm like, like he moved like kind of freaky, like a mannequin's head moving, right? So but besides that, it was very difficult to tell. Now, the last thing we were talking about, of course, this the coalition business. I say, bold statement here, folks, and I want everybody in the chat to see if they agree or disagree with me or boo me off the damn show. I say shelve Gears 6, and I want a sequel to The Path of Neo. That's all I have to say. Oh, my
God, yes. Now, could you imagine if they are working on an exclusive Matrix game?
Well, there is a rumor. It is just a rumor, but there's a rumor that they may be. Well, they didn't say who. They just said someone's working on a Matrix game.
Huh. So real quick, The Verge did a very good breakdown with Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves talking about this demo.
Yes, I watched
and that question was asked. Mm-hmm. And the way Keanu answered that question all but confirms that there's a game in the works.
Yes,
my question is, why didn't it come out when the movie's coming out?
Maybe it's way too early.
It is being worked on. Because the way he said it was a little too tongue in cheek. You don't disrespect where your bread is buttered, and he kind of did that. So something's in the works.
What if this is the project that the coalition is working on? They are working on.
Don't excite me. Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Don't excite me.
I want a sequel to The Path of Neo.
Makes sense,
Remember that
doesn't
on the PS2 and original Xbox or whatever it was?
I've actually re-downloaded The Path of Neo on PC, and I played it recently.
Excellent.
I love it that much. Yes,
yeah.
I'm there for it.
Go for it.
Oh boy.
We could take a break from Gears. I actually have no problem with that. Maybe some people will boo me off the show, but no. I'm getting a lot of yeses in the chat. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take it back.
Yeah.
Okay, I want it. I said shelve Gears 6. Give it some time to breathe. Because remember when Coalition started hammering out gears after gears between 4, the what was it, the remake of the first one or the remaster of the first one, then 5. It's like, guys, enough. Calm down. Let's take a break. Do some kind of a Matrix situation. They clearly have the chops to do it. They already have done something to that extent already. Why not just do that? And then, you know what? Give Gears another 3-4 years. And then
so you're saying you don't want a Marcus Phoenix collection done in Unreal Engine 5 is what you're saying.
Well, they could do that in between to sort of self-fund their, well, not that they need funding, but you know what I mean? That's usually what they do, right? People do remasters and whatever in order to gauge garner some excitement for whatever they're working on in the future. I say go with that, but do it in like 2-3 years from now, and then release Gears 6 and 4 years from now. But in between then, they've got the potential to work on a new IP, work on a Matrix game. Just do it.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
Matt,
listen,
based on some reporting that has been said by I think Jez Corden, they might already be a step ahead of you. They didn't say the Matrix because I'd be all over the place, but supposedly they're working on something smaller in between the next Gear 6.
yeah,
So
right, that's confirmed. Yes, and it's
you
an
know,
Unreal Engine 5
We
project.
that,
Yeah.
that game is
talked
not
about
even
that
coming
on
out
this show.
anytime soon. The Gear 6. So they're spreading their wings a little bit, which
All
we
right,
all
that's good to
appreciate.
see.
Nice. Well, listen, let me catch up with super chats and we'll get Bango Mango's opinion about it. We have Brian Hopkins drops an outstanding $10 super chat to open up today's show and says, "What up, Boom? You got the awesome Bango Mango and Sour Blow Gaming on the panel. Gonna be a great show." Yes, indeed it is. And thank you for the generosity, Brian. Definitely appreciate that. Bunty drops an outstanding $20 super chat and says, "I am loving this game. Please, for the love of Joe," I just threw that in there. "No spoilers. If there's spoilers, let me know because now, Boom, because I'm trying to do everything like you and I almost finished everything and I'm into the story. And yeah, we're not doing no spoiler talking. We're not giving away any of the good stuff. So don't worry about that. Thank you for the generosity, Bunty. Kate, we also have Brian Hopkins drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "With that tech demo hitting in an astounding way, now I need a new Matrix game created
Yeah.
for an Unreal Engine 5. Indeed." Mr. Joanna Dark says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Such an incredible panel tonight and excited to sit down and enjoy tonight's show. Halo is back," after dropping a $5 super chat. And of course, he also donated the Halo Infinite campaign, which we'll be giving away later on. Crazy Lou Gaming drops a $2 super chat and says, "Boom, check your DM." I will certainly do that, brother. We have Don Otaku drops a $5 super chat and says, "Hellblade 2's gameplay was still running on the Unreal Engine 4.26 according to VentureBeat. They haven't even transferred to the Unreal Engine 5 yet." And that's saying something, folks. That is saying something. Pixel Bit G drops a $2 super chat and says, "Did you enable night mode visiting yellow markers?" I did, and it was breathtaking. The night today was just incredible. Bango, let's get your opinion on this, brother. This demo came out of nowhere. Now, obviously, it's being used as a marketing tool for the Matrix that's coming out on just before Christmas. I believe it's on the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. It's close. I can't wait to watch it. Thankfully, I have HBO Max, so I don't have to go to the movie theater and die, which is why I'm not going to see Spider-Man because, yeah, I'd rather live. I asked my brother Neo Mental, "Hey, listen, should we chance?" And he says this to me, and I quote, "Dude, I love you. I love Spider-Man, but I also like living. So I'm not going to see
Wise. Very
and I
wise.
will wait the 45 days and watch it on one of my streaming services." So
I can imagine Neo Mental saying that too. He's that
and
dude.
yeah, that does sound like him, doesn't it? But
Smart
listen, Bango, what are your thoughts on this demo? This is pretty impressive, and to see that we have several of the Xbox studios front and center using this, and one of which, of course, is the Coalition masters of the Unreal Engine. What is your excitement level for it?
All I gotta say, guys, is Gear 6 is gonna be crazy, man. Whenever this game comes out, whether takes a breather like Mag says, even if it takes a breather, can you imagine Gear 6 if it had 4 to 5 extra years on the Unreal Engine 5?
Unbelievable.
It's gonna be crazy, and Coalition, I think Mag hit it on the nose in regards to my thoughts in regards, and so I'll get into the whole Coalition aspect, and then I'll go into my thoughts on top of the Unreal Engine demo itself. But I don't know if you guys remember, but the Coalition released a little tidbit back in the day where I'm not sure if they showed aspects of Project Mara. That's another project that they're working on.
Yes, the horror stuff.
Yes, the horror game and things like that. I'm not sure if it was connected to that, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember they showed a kitchen. It was a kitchen and some aspects of like sinks and things like that. That looked phenomenal. And if you guys, and that looked as real as anything, as real as taking a picture of a. I think they did a side by side.
Yes, they did a
comparison.
side by side.
Yes, and if that is what you're telling, I didn't know this before, but if that's what you're telling me, and it's not even utilizing the full aspect of the Unreal Engine 5, my gosh, does the Coalition, I can't even have words for it, And correct me if I'm wrong too, panel, but in regards to the other Xbox studios, or at least Xbox related games, we have Redfall utilizing
Yes.
Unreal Engine 5.
Yep.
We have Outer Worlds 2, I think,
Yes.
potentially using Unreal Engine 5. Stalker is already confirmed. Stalker 2 is going to be Unreal Engine 5.
Is it
you know?
really Stalker
Yes.
2?
Yep. Correct.
Yeah,
think
so.
I
so.
had
First
no
game.
idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's releasing in the spring, which I cannot.
That's right.
wait.
Yeah, and
that's
that's coming
great.
up. Yep. Xbox exclusive on that one as well, and then now Hellblade. And then so with all of that, and then having the excitement of someone as profound as the Coalition, the potential of the Xbox Studios moving forward has me super excited. Because you have multiple people, and if you have wizards like the Coalition coming in and helping the other studios along with this, like, man, we're looking at a good 2022. We're looking at a good 2023, guys. And that's regardless. And how crazy, like, how crazy would it be if the quote unquote small project that they're working on is any Matrix related? I don't think it is either, but it's just high hopes.
One could hope. One could hope.
I know when you were saying it, I was tripping out. I was like, my gosh, that's their small project. What's their big project?
Yeah, no kidding.
Seriously,
Yeah.
man. But
So
yeah.
to confirm, Redfall is using Unreal Engine 5.
Okay, it is.
Project
Excellent.
Mara was made by the Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory, yes.
Yes, but there are more developer to developer, which is surprising when PlayStation bought a stake in them. There are more Xbox developers using Unreal than
Isn't
almost
State of
any other
Decay 3
development
using
platform.
Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
money at the end of the day. They
Yes.
don't care who's making it.
Yeah, State of Decay 3 is also using Unreal Engine 5. They're
Wow,
all,
yeah, the K3,
all in,
wow.
which is very weird because now Microsoft has like id Tech and all these other ridiculous engines that
Yep.
could do it as well. We shall see. It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Right now.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
and
it's yeah.
go ahead,
Continue. No, yeah, continue, brother.
yeah, and when you're, as you guys are speaking, when you wrap your mind around it, the potential of the Xbox Studios gets me really excited.
Yes.
And then diving into the my impressions of the demo itself, I agree with everyone saying there was times where I think when it comes to characters and the facial animations of the demo itself, it's definitely a leap forward, but for me, it's the environments that blew me away. I could not tell, like Keasante and Dutch and Mag was saying earlier, you're walking through there and you don't know. You literally don't know, and just adding to that, and how perfect, Keasante, being a cinema person yourself, how perfect that the Unreal Engine 5 demo would be tied into the Matrix and that type of lore,
Yeah.
bringing it full circle. And it was, I believe the first Matrix was 1999 when it came out.
Correct.
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago. That was 22 years ago, and I remember watching that movie and seeing the aspects of it and thinking to myself, wow, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine that? And now we have something scarily and excitingly to that point. We have something like that in gaming, and so with that, it just gets me excited for the potential of gaming. It gets me excited for the potential of Xbox Studios. I honestly didn't spend too much time. I guess it's like the portuguese in me, as we say in Hawaii. I took the drone in the demo, and you can fly it anywhere and things like that. But I noticed that if you hit the cars, it kind of pushes you back. So I'm there flying around the city and exploring it and enjoying its beauty. And then I go down to the freeway and I'm playing my own little mini games, running through the drone and trying to dodge all the cars and things like that. So I spent a lot of my time doing that, but also admiring all the goodness that it has. And so, yeah, adding and wrapping up my points and all, excited for the potential of Xbox Studios and how much people are utilizing Unreal Engine 5. Excited for the potential of gaming, tying it all into the Matrix. And 22 years, if we can get to this point where we thought, quote unquote, a sci-fi movie becomes reality now, the future of gaming 22 years from now is just
I want the holodeck immediately.
Yes, thank you, Boom.
Thank you. I want the holodeck, or I want to get what was that Steven Spielberg movie? Oh my God, it's one of my favorite.
Ready
films.
Player One?
Yes, I want Ready Player One.
I just want the holodeck and I want the Playboy Mansion. That's it. I don't need gaming. That is gaming for me.
changing the game.
All right. Well, that went down a dark path, but you know what? An exciting dark path nonetheless. But listen, Let's bring Sour Blow Gaming in on the final part of this question. Now we're going to move right into the big topic of the evening. That is the Halo Infinite live on air review from everyone. Sour Blow, how impressed were you with this demo that pretty much dropped out of nowhere?
Okay, well, first of all, I gotta say I have a Xbox Series S, so I didn't get the full blown experience. But coming from using a $300 box, I was super impressed that a console, a $300 console, could actually run this, and the way it looks, it was mind blowing. And I do think that with all this, well, this is kind of the first time where consoles are kind of up to pair, like to what technology the PC is using, like uh, the RDNA architecture and also the processors. So it's gonna give developers like a higher ceiling on what they can do starting the generation, and I can only imagine towards the end of the generation. I think this is gonna be an amazing generation.
Yeah,
for-
indeed it is. Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be specifically for Xbox because PlayStation gamers have been treated for quite some time with very, very cinematic experiences.
Yes.
And again, you can't argue what their game studios has done. They have really put forth some incredible titles during the PlayStation 4, and they're continuing that with the PlayStation 5 generation. But what I'm excited for as an Xbox gamer is many Xbox gamers have been asking for that cinematic presentation, and we are going to get that in many forms and many fashions moving forward. I think you're going to see that kind of high graphical style come to Fable. I think we're going to get that in Avowed. I think we're going to get that in Perfect Dark. We're going to obviously get that in Hellblade, plus plenty of the things that we don't know that they're working on, potentially bringing back older IPs, newer IPs. It is indeed going to be a very exciting time. Now we just got Everborn Saga to join us. What's going on, Everborn? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm exhausted, man. I just got off like a 10-hour production call.
Oh wow,
that was mind-numbing, and we turned out it was just some server timestamps being out of sync.
Okay,
and we were checking APIs, all this stuff.
Stop speaking Greek to the people. Stop it.
Sounds like a lot of fun and boring.
Kay, you know what I'm talking about because you
know exactly what you're talking about. And I don't want to hear about it.
Well, here's the thing: you weren't playing Halo, so life is boring. Sorry.
Indeed. Yes,
exactly.
Sorry to. But you know what? Speaking of which, let's get into the Halo topic. We have a very big panel. We are an hour, or just under an hour in.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. And
yes.
Did you guys talk about the Matrix already, or is that
we literally just wrapping it up? You want to throw something in there?
5 seconds. So,
okay.
Told you he's just as big a fan as I am. Go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, but I'm not going to bring my Matrix stannery into this because then it'll be a 3-hour podcast. But there is and Reloaded was the best Matrix. Fight me. But again, that's not what we're here for. All right. So something very interesting, and I don't know if you guys brought this up, but Epic is providing that open world tool set and all those assets for free to anyone that uses
Asante, in fact, brought that up as a matter of fact.
Right. So there was a thread, I think I shared it in the chat, and I can't remember the gentleman's name who said it, but what they pointed out is that Epic is trying to bring the economics of filmmaking into the game development area, right? And so the thing is, now that you have a tool that can do something like a realistic cityscape like that, what can smaller teams do now when they don't have to worry about creating a whole world from scratch, right? And because it is a real world scene, right? So if the setting of your game is fantasy or if it's sci-fi, that's different. But because that's a real world and it's an object that we can all understand, right? And I saw that super chat down, Otaku. It is the greatest. Listen, we can debate that later, right? But the point is, anyone will tell you, a filmmaker will tell you that the cheapest film you can make is 2 actors and a camera in a real world setting because you don't have to build a set from scratch. As video game developers, we have to, everything needs to be built from scratch. That is the thing that takes up the man hours and the people, is just asset creation. So if you have a tool like this, imagine you just want to make a superhero game and the city's right there for you. Spider-Man is what it is because
you didn't catch the beginning part of the show. I said
I didn't catch any.
Looking forward to. I said I'm looking forward to Stuido coming out very soon.
Right.
Indie developer.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I'm looking forward to is indie games that may have a super interesting story or innovative play mechanics that just happen to take place in the city, and the developer can focus on those things. Like imagine like a sort of a noir detective story that just takes place in a living, breathing city like that, that you can do, right? So see, Splendiferous gets it. But anyway, I won't take your time up with that. I just think we are in for a crazy treat this generation, and the old guard is going to be on notice.
Yes,
because
indeed.
when you realize, and we've seen the beginning of this with things like the Ascent, right? Now with UE5, and remember, Ninja Theory is a team of what, like 100 people, and they were able to do that with UE5. Smaller teams and independent devs are going to make things that we deem AAA today, right? And further than that. And the thing about smaller teams being able to do that, when you don't have to spend $100 million budget or a $200 million budget, guess what? You can be more creative and take more risks with the stories you tell and the play mechanics. Because how does it work today? It is the indie games that sort of bring us these new mechanics, and then once they become popular, the big studios come on and they kind of take that and then polish it up and then put it in a big package. So imagine now when you have smaller studios that can give us AAA quality environments and visuals, but also have that innovative and risk-taking play mechanics and stories. We're in for a treat. But that's it. That's all I want to say, because I know we got to go on to Halo.
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah, please, by all means, go ahead.
Banger was mentioning something about these images with the sinks and all these other things that looks photorealistic. That's being created by Ninja Theory.
Yes.
And they say they're creating all these ad sets. What if they're creating all these ad sets to share within the Xbox studios?
Oh no, we you know, it's funny you say that, because it has been confirmed already that each studio is helping out with another. I mean, obviously we heard Coalition helped with Halo Infinite that you see on your screen.
Okay.
And they came in, and one of the things that Sony has been known to do and their studios is help one another when they're having difficulty. And I've said this for years. I'd love to see it come to Xbox, and in fact, it has been something that they've been doing on a regular basis.
Right. So if Ninja Theory can help studios with motion capture, right? If Turn 10 and Playground can help people with like photogrammetry, if Rare can help people with the water physics and things like that, imagine. But now you don't want games to feel samey, but there's certain things where you can give tips to people
100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Have you guys, while we transition off to the Halo point, have you guys noticed that the word Ninja Theory is in Halo?
Yes,
Like,
it is on
the tip screen. I suspect that at some point when they break it down, you will find out that a lot more hands were in the pot than we thought.
Oh,
there might be
there's
other
a lot
studio
of
work here.
Easter eggs. There's even Killer Instinct comes up.
Thank you. I was just literally going to say that there was a Killer Instinct one, which got me very excited.
Let me ask you guys a question about Halo. We know that the Coalition helped out. We know, and it seems like they got help from their other studios. You know, and it makes sense. Listen, Master Chief, he's the king, right? So the way Xbox goes the way of Master Chief. Master Chief delivers. Xbox is in a good place. Phil Spencer said this himself. But let me ask you a question. Since it was all hands on deck to get this thing out, and by all accounts, they've exceeded everyone's expectations. could it be that some of the reasons we don't have dates on other projects is because all hands were on deck to focus on helping 343 out? Get this out the door?
Could very well be. Yeah. I mean, we won't know until someone writes a book or until they tell us. But I
we
think
need an episode 7 of Xbox On.
Power On, yeah.
Power On,
yeah. Well, again, that someone actually did that. Let me catch up with some of the super chats. There's been quite a few since I stopped before, and then we're going to get into the Halo topic. Danny Passion Official, good friend of the show, he drops a $5 super chat and says the coalition just helped to optimize the demo for stability, memory, etc. The demo was made to showcase the Unreal Engine 5, and I'm pretty sure that WB paid for it. Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. I don't think a coalition had anything to do with paying for anything. That's all on WB, but it is because it was the Matrix. But they did help. And knowing that they are already the masters and they had a hand in on it gets me super excited for whatever they're working on, and more importantly, Gears whatever that they release. Drawn TJ drops a $5 super chat and says, "Hi, Boom and panel. Hellblade 2 looked amazing, and new Dune RTS. Great time to be a gamer." Indeed, yeah. I'm not an RTS kind of a guy unless it's Aliens versus Predator. I don't know if anyone remembers that RTS from the OG Xbox days. It was dope as F. Absolutely loved it. Still own it, and it's like $300 on eBay, which is ridiculous. Don Otaku drops a $5 super chat and says, "Please ban Everborn from the podcast for that terrible for that Matrix."
I can back that take up. Okay, anytime you know where to find me on Twitter.
Cheap plug. We will be doing on the real edition of the Matrix when Resurrections comes out. And we can go into all of that.
And,
right?
I expect that you guys will, and I'll be tuning in.
And we've already done an On the Real episode where I broke down why it is the best Matrix. I will point you to that.
He makes a strong point. I will give him that. He makes a strong point.
Coming from a Matrix guy, I will take you and see you on that, and definitely tune in for that. But Don Otaku drops an additional $5 super chat. Thank you for the generosity, Don. He says Hellblade 2 is being made by 50 employees, not even a full 120. That's 1/40th of the amount of employees that worked on The Last of Us 2 with the eyeballs. That's something to be said. I didn't they have like 2,000 people working on The Last of Us 2, which told the worst story in gaming history. But that's just my personal opinion.
Man, the slander, not even from Everborn. Damn.
Yeah, graphics, everything I love, the stealth, the weapon handling, but that story was just, man, it was shit. Really, honestly terrible. And I was disappointed as a huge fan of that series. Disappointed. It felt out of whack. It always seemed like we were going back in time and it made no sense. Listen, I don't want to get into it. That's a 2-hour podcast on its own. Sir X-Man, generous friend of the show, he drops a $2 super chat and says, "I was totally impressed with the car damage in Matrix." Yes, it absolutely looked bananas, especially when she had the heavy machine gun and you seen the dents hitting like the hood. It was quite incredible. But folks, here we're now gonna review live on the air Halo. I'm not going to speak much because if you want to get my actual honest take, please, after the show, go check out X Vlog episode number 5. It is my full 10 out of 10 review of Halo Infinite, and I give very, very detailed reasons as to why I say that it's a 10, though it's not a perfect game. But tune in for that. It's 24 minutes. I guarantee you're going to walk away incredibly impressed because it is honest. It is no script. And but yeah, for me, 10 out of 10. I want to go first to the Mag on this one because Mag, you've been chomping at the bit all week to talk about this. I know Everborn Saga got here in the nick of time because he's been dying to talk about this. Mm-hmm. For you and for me, we are of a same mind type of gamer.
Yeah,
we love this open world. We love things to do. We love little things on the map to go and hunt and check out. And this game has that in spades. This is a Halo that we have never experienced, but I think that secretly we all wanted and didn't know we needed in our lives. And 343 has delivered. And I said this in the video today. the multiplayer could have went incredibly wrong, and somehow they recaptured what I loved about Halo 3's multiplayer and made it modern. Well, they somehow found out that my love and your love for games like the Assassin's Creed series and Far Cry 6 that give you this monster world. I tell you right now, after playing this game, I don't think we can ever go back to playing a regular claustrophobic Halo type game.
Nope. And I have no intention of doing that. I have no intention of going back, and I don't think they have the intention of going back. The Pandora's box is now open, and you will not be able to seal it, because now what you've done is that you've introduced not just to old farts like us who've been playing Halo since the first day it came out, a whole new generation of kids.
Yes.
And younger gamers and everything have now been exposed to Halo. This may be their very first Halo game. They may not even be old enough when the Master Chief Collection came out. They might not even been through puberty yet. And all of a sudden now they're teenagers and they're going, what the hell is this Halo business all about?
Stop making me feel old, man. Stop it.
Well, hey, dude, come on, man. 50's coming, folks. But anyways.
I'm already there. So
there you go.
It's
Boom's already there. The rest of us, well, we're already on that toboggan down that hill. We're going to get there soon. Anyway, the point is this. This is now got to be the status quo. This is now the norm for this game because, like I said, you have now introduced it to millions of new players. And it's not just young kids. It's also PlayStation guys. It's also PC guys because you know how PC players are. They're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you know, Wolverine for PS5 is going to come out on PC in 2046. And they'll be like, oh, wait. You know what I mean? They'll wait. They'll wait years because they don't want to buy a console or whatever, right? So now they're playing Halo. So the thing is,
and they're probably enjoying it too.
And they're probably enjoying the hell out of it. I can't see how you couldn't enjoy it. Now the thing is, now because you've done that, now you've opened up that can of worms. You're no longer going to be able to go back to that what we used to play. The like you were saying, Boom, that claustrophobic corridor style shooter, whatever. The mazes, which piss me off. You know, like myself and Cybernox running in circles for 40 minutes while we're live streaming, and we're like,
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember
the
that
flood chasing y'all.
You know what I felt like?
He started dropping Ice Cube verses. It was.
I started rapping because I was getting bored because we were literally going in circles. I felt like Sam and Frodo at the beginning of the Two Towers. Like, we're going in circles, Sam. You know, it's like it felt like that. Right, so I'm just
I love the accent, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. But anyways, in all seriousness, let's get back to Halo. I love that kind of game, Boom. That you know that's our jam, right? And the thing is, when I get into a game like this, and any kind of an open world game, and you know, you get through the opening sludge of like, you know, the story. This happens. You know, Giancarlo Esposito comes down the stairs of a boat, and the big bad guy's here. This and that. I don't care about any of that stuff. As soon as that moment comes where they, you know, when it like it automatically goes to the map and just goes, and you see bum, 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 bum. You see all these things
Doesn't
popping
your
up.
eyes get like big doll eyes? You're like, holy, look at all the stuff to do.
That's right. And see, now when it happened in Halo, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be as meticulously detailed as it is. I thought it was going to be a mix of not a set, like maybe not even as deep as Far Cry. I was thinking like a mix of like Gears 5 just kind of juiced up a little bit. But then the map opened and all of a sudden I went, okay. And then I started rubbing my hands together going, let's get to it. What's the game plan here? And then I started looking at all the sections and going, okay, I want to go tackle this area here. I'm going to go see this over here. I'm going to go find this over here. I want to go explore the ends of the map. And what I did, the first thing I did, by the way, I'd like to say the first thing I did was I upgraded my grapple hook. And I did that so that I could, you could get the places that you can't go, right?
Yeah.
So that you hit once, you know, you free fall for like a second, bam, you hit again, so then you jump another 10 or 15 feet, another 10 or 15 feet at a time.
How many people found their way up to get the nosebleed achievement?
Yes, I haven't got to there yet, but that's where I found, you guys see I posted that picture of the Craig LP?
Yes.
That was on the roof of a building. just
awesome?
randomly sitting on the roof of some big tall building, and then right next to it, it had the Craig World Tour poster, and then it said Zeta Halo Tour, and I'm like, that was just on the top of some random building. So I'm like, that's great. Anyways, the thing is, I like to tackle games at my pace, at my leisure, where I like to be able to go to each individual area, and I like to tackle and complete the game and complete the maps, because I'm an OCD guy. I like to complete things. I don't like to walk away and just say, I blew through the story in 4 hours. And I'm like, what? Where's the enjoyment in that? Like, you're
anyone
not
that's
getting
blowing
anything.
through this. Listen, I can't tell you how to play a game.
Yeah,
but I am telling you, for anyone, you don't have to be OCD like us. But I am telling you that you are doing yourself an unbelievable disservice by not finding these logs, specifically the banished ones. They are awesome.
They are very good, and I really enjoy them. I like this. I'm not going to get into the story because I know some people in the chat and everything else. I haven't finished it. I'm barely on like the second mission, and I'm like 25 hours into this game. I'm not kidding. If anybody thinks I'm kidding, I'm not. I am not kidding. I've been hunting around for all the the multiplayer like skins and all that kind of stuff that you can unlock, like those lockers. I've been unlocking those lockers. I've been checking out flamingos or whatever the hell they're called. Other thing, some of those the power cores, the cells, whatever. So you can.
I'm looking for. I won't leave an area until I have mopped up everything.
Exactly, and I'm exactly the same way. Boom, we play the same way. Now, the thing is, one of my favorite series of all time, and this is what I'm going to compare it to, and this is what Borderlands. Borderlands is one of my favorite series of all time. I absolutely adore Borderlands 2 specifically, and Borderlands 3. I got that 3,000 out of 3,000 achievements on Borderlands 3 just, I think it was about 3 months ago. 3 months ago I did that. And I adore those kind of games. Like, you want to give me an open world. You also want to give me the 60 FPS. You want to give me a first-person shooter on top of it. I'm sold. And so when I got into this Halo, I got exactly what I wanted. So what did I get? I get the Master Chief. I get the Halo world. I get the lore. We get, as you were saying, Boom, when you go through the collectibles, you get the excellent story on top of it. And like I said, I haven't done a whole bunch of story missions. I've been doing like what you're doing right here, like liberating little, what are those, FOBs and things like that. And
I got the achievement. I unlocked every FOB in the game.
It's wonderful, right? And so, like, anyways, as a result, I'm absolutely adoring this game. I can't, and just like I've seen it time and time again, whether it's from this panel, whether it's from the chat, whether it's people on Twitter or wherever, they're all saying the same thing. And Boom, I know you guys see it. Guys in the panel, I know you've seen it too. And what have everybody been saying it? When I'm not playing Halo, I'm thinking about Halo.
Yes.
Right? And so that is a telling thing. And it's not just some random guy and some other random guy. It's everybody. Everybody who's playing it is saying that. They're saying, man, I'm having so much fun playing it, and when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. And that is the sign of when it's got its hooks into you like Hellraiser. You ain't coming out of that trap. You are in there now. And so, like, that's where I get it. So I'm giving the game, I'm going to cut it short here because I haven't got deep in the story, and I'm not going to talk about the story. I'm just talking about the games that I enjoy to play, how I like to play them, and the presentation and everything else. I give this game an absolutely solid 9.5 out of 10 with no with no like anything. That's my score. 9.5, no scruples.
Incredible. You certainly can't argue with that. Kay Santo, let's get to you, brother. You have a lot to say about this. Then we're going to bring in Everborn Saga, and then Wandering Dutch, and then our guests, and then we will potentially get to another topic, or we might just get out of here because, again, there's no time limit. Take as much time as you want. This is a conversational podcast, but by all means, give us your open review of Halo Infinite.
So I came into Halo Infinite a little trepidatious because I'm a big fan of the Master Chief Collection. I've been playing it for years. I still play it all the time. But I got to tell you, folks, after playing, and I have, last I checked, let me check again, 2 days and 18 hours in so far. Now, I am not a multiplayer player, so I did play my fair share of multiplayer, but that 2 days is all single player. I've been playing, shout out to PTK Bland from the Shop Podcast. I find myself in party chats with him, and he's playing his campaign. I'm playing mine, and we're just doing this podcast, but like just he and I just gushing for hours on end. And of course, he's on Arizona time, so by the time I look around, it's 2:30 in the morning, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm good."
Hey, it's only 8 o'clock here. Tough.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
That happened to me last night. I was up until after 1 a.m.
It's funny. We were saying that. Yes.
Yeah, because like you play it and then you lose track of time, and then you're like, okay, look, I got to get up in the morning. Let me go to sleep. And then I'm laying in bed, literally like, should I just go back and do one more fob mission? Because it's right there.
See what happens?
100%.
That's how it goes.
100%. Yes. So to get to the review of it all, I also will not do spoilers. I was doing exactly what you guys are doing, which savoring it like a fine wine. But the problem is, in order to savor it like that, you have to play a little bit of it and then step away. But I can't step away. So I'm about 75% into the story now, and I have beaten everything. The only thing I haven't gotten are the skulls, and I'm planning on going back to get the skulls. I have every log from both the Banished and the UNSC and the Spartans. I have all of my various equipment fully maximized.
Nice.
And oddly enough, people are saying that it is. I will give it the criticism of the tools in order to get to all the various tools is a little cumbersome. So I had to do a little bit of strategery with my elite controller to make it a little easier to get to my get out of jail free card, which is the grapple shot. Whenever anything's getting hairy, boom, you get the grapple shot, you out of there, right? So you always want to be able to get back to it. So I had to do some stuff on the elite controller to be able to easily get back to that. That's really more of a nitpick than anything else. Like, that game is just so good. It just makes you just want to keep going and going. Yes. All I need now is like a monkey suit. Those suits that what do you call it? Just Cause has, where you could just dump and then spread your wings and fly. That's the only piece of the puzzle that's still missing from that equation. But even still, it'll work. I'm hoping one day PC people do a hack so I can have the grapple shot on both arms. So you can really Spider-Man that thing, because that's what I do all day. That's all I do all day. I find the highest point, and then I this tree, that tree, this rock, that rock. How long can I go without touching the ground? And I've gone for a long time without touching the ground. It's so good. Like just the movement, just all the stuff like you guys were saying. I'm not so gung-ho on all the crazy points of interest on the map. If it's too much at the same time, it becomes a little bit kind of over. It gets me a little bit nervous. Like, oh, I got to do all this stuff. But the way that they dole it out is in such small doses. You beat one area, then they open up a little bit more. Then you beat another. So by the time you look back, there's just so much you've accomplished, and it didn't show up on the map day one. It was very small day one, right? And you get this, and then all of a sudden another Spartan core makes itself available to you, little by little by little. And there are a few of those Spartan cores that are like underground, and you just don't know it. It just says it's there, and then you have to spend all your time trying to, find your way to that bottom. There are very cool secrets that you can find, and no worries, there will be no spoilers at all. Little secrets you can find, arcades, and all these little cool little things that I just spent 5-10 minutes just listening to 8-bit Halo music because they had it available there. It is such a great game. I posted a poll on my Twitter for shout out to Pixelbit G and all of them. I see y'all in the chat. They came out to the Gaming Circle podcast over the weekend, and we were talking about Halo as well. 4%. I think about 150 people at the end of it, like reviewed, took part in the poll. 4% called it trash. I want to sit down. If you are earnest with yourself, I want to sit down and have a conversation with that 4%, because 60 some odd percent said it is the greatest Halo of all time. Like just the greatest Halo of all time.
None of those 4%. None of those 4%.
We're being honest, huh?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I would, because I know shout out to the homie Philly Eagle. He was anti-Halo from the jump, right? So I would like to have, and I've had like very interesting conversations with him as to why. And although I may not agree with him, I do like to hear that honest side of the coin. So maybe there are those out there who genuinely played it and thought it wasn't great, but I cannot fathom you playing this game and saying, it is amazing to me.
It is.
It is
100%.
amazing. This game is just so fantastic. I have some questions. I'm at the point in the story now where I have some questions about certain things that are happening, and I'm like, But even that aside, like Pixel was saying this on the show, and he's absolutely right. Specifically with gaming, it's more about the journey than the destination. A story is very important. 100% it is. I'm not saying it's not. But if you spend 2 some odd days of gameplay just enjoying the hell out of yourself over and over again, just playing through this story, and then you get to a place where you don't like it, just because the ending might not be great, and I'm not saying it's not great. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not great. But that journey counts for something. And even right now that I'm like, I'd say about 75% of that I suspect. I would give it, like right now, strong 9 out of 10. There are certain questions I have here and there, and it is very much justifiable, but you can like jump from the highest height and land like it's no big deal. You're Michael Jackson, you just keep moonwalking on. I'm just like, yo, what happened here? There needs to be some fall damage here. Come on now.
It's a Master Chief.
No fall damage. Stop that. Don't give
what I've tried
no ideas.
Different heights, and I'm like, please don't die. Please don't die. I'm like, wow, he's just doing it. So I keep going higher and higher, just like you.
You hear the sound effect, right? It sounds like if it gets loud enough, maybe he will fall. But then he's just like, nope, I'm good. Let's just keep it moving. It's fantastic. You find yourself just like endlessly going for like, I'll just get this FOB. Yeah, you get that one, and then you get this one. I just unlocked not the Pelican. I forget the name of the other flying.
Is it the Condor?
I think it may be.
Or is the Wasp? No, it's the Wasp.
The Wasp. Yes, I just unlocked the Wasp. So now I'm like really flying all over the place.
That's gonna make getting some of the skulls that you had to really do some like tricky web slinging. There was one that was on the top of a building. It took me about 30 minutes to get into.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start getting into that because I want to finish the story, and once the story is done, I will still want to be in that world. So then that'll be the next thing I dig into, getting all the skulls. But I have to say, like, if you even if you don't like the story of Halo whatsoever, one crazy thing this game has had me doing ever since I started playing this game, as everyone in the panel has so aptly already pointed out, that when you're not playing Halo, you're thinking about Halo. Yeah. I rewatched Forward Unto Dawn. I rewatched Halo Legends. I rewatched all the mediocre Halos. I have watched all of them while playing this game.
Did you rewatch Nightfall?
I did. Yes.
Look at you,
now, see, the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to. I want to save the story for when I built out all my stuff. So I kind of wanted more Halo-ness in my life while I was just running around killing things. So I just had that on my tablet, and of course, the Xbox Series, the Xbox wireless headset lets you dual pair to Bluetooth devices as well as the console. So I have that on my tablet. I'm going through it and I'm reminding myself how much, Colonel Lasky, he was in that school, right? Yeah, all that stuff, It is absolutely fantastic. It gets you in that Halo world.
You know what it is, Asante? It sounds like it sparked your passion for it.
Yes, and that's what really got you all in. Yes,
and that's what good 100%. Art does. Whether it's a film, whether it's a book, whether it's a stage play, whether it's a video game, if it sparks your passion, that means 100%. That they've done their damn job, which is great.
100%. Now, I the last thing I'll say, I won't call it a criticism. I'll just call it for opportunity for growth. Being like, while I was playing through the game as I am, and like revisiting all these great Halo stories that I've been revisiting. Also, I'll say it on the podcast. If you have not checked out the Spotify thing of what do you call it? Halo Infinite Memory Agent. That's a tie-in audio podcast that actually has hints to this campaign. Very cool, very well acted.
I stayed away from that because I got burned with the one they did for Halo.
Hunt the Truth. Hunt the Truth was also very good, but this is very good.
But then
this gives you this adds more layers to what you're already playing. And that is my not criticism, but little hopeful growth there. A lot of our favorite characters from the past that you will remember once you start rekindling all those fires, they're all relegated to audio logs. Many of them don't make a visual appearance. As your solitary chief going around, you hear their voices, you hear what happened, you hear this, through audio logs. I hope that there's backfill there at some point. I hope that we can go back there and possibly give them their own little something. Show me some of those characters, because I love the Chief. I always have, I always will. But it wasn't just the Chief that I enjoyed. I want to see Halsey again. I want to see, all of that again. I don't just want to hear what happened to them.
Did you get the audio log where they talked about what happened to Blue Team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've so all that is there. It's just I want to just like Reach, where you knew what happened with Reach even during Halo CE, because a lot of that information was already out there. That was way in the past, right? But at some point they went back to Reach and they showed it to you. I want them to show it to me. That would be great. Possible, like maybe mini DLC or something like that.
I think we're going to get that in some form or fashion for sure. Like I said, there was a leak about a year ago regarding these smaller stories that were going to be told through DLC.
I hope so. That's what I'm looking for.
There was even one rumor that you were going to be able to use Atriox, which would be pretty interesting. But real quick, before we bring in Wandering Dutch, I got to stop the show for this, because this doesn't happen very often. We have been very blessed this evening, not only to get a code for Halo Infinite, which I'm going to be giving away, and I pick a winner, Dplo6669. You are the winner of the Halo Infinite code that was provided to us today by a very good friend of the show, Mr. Joanna Dark. But it actually, the generosity continues, because Brian Hopkins drops a $20 gift card for XBL.
Nice.
And he says, thanks. He said, you can drop this in the show if you want, from us folks over at XBI. I believe that is their podcast. And the winner for that is Sean Ham. You win, Sean. If you figure a way to get to me, DM me on Twitter, and I will send you over your $20 code. But it gets even better. Crazy Lou Gaming, who's of course also a part of XBI, folks, he drops in a $100 gift card to Xbox. And that is insanity. In terms of his name, Crazy Lou Gaming. Thank you for the generosity.
That's him.
Great dude.
But the winner, and folks, this is picked from a picker. I throw everyone's names in there and just shoots out. The winner of this is someone from the community that this warms my heart. See, I love it when the good guys win. And the winner of this $100 gift card that was provided to us by Crazy Lou Gaming, which is extremely generous, is the mod master himself, Lethal Papa.
Awesome.
And I'm getting goosebumps live on the air, folks, because this man is here, there, and everywhere, and he never asks for anything. He's as humble as pie. And when the picker shot out his name, I said, well, there is someone upstairs that does really care, because it's always the good guys that we love to see win. And of course, big congratulations to all three winners: Sean Ham, Lethal Papa, and of course Dploy6669. And of course, thank you everyone for donating these incredible gifts that, again, it doesn't happen very often, specifically on this show. And I cannot not thank you folks for the generosity. And I will be reaching out to everyone as soon as the show is done. I can't do it now because it's too much. It's too much, but I will be getting to everybody. But let Wandering Dutch, you have had a lot to say on social media, on your own podcast, obviously on your own YouTube channel. But for tonight's show, please, by all means, share your review of Halo Infinite. And this is the coming out party for 343i. I said it in my video today. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, and this is not fanboying, this is being an honest person, I believe that this game, both the multiplayer and single player, 343 has officially been unearthed and removed from the shadow of Bungie. And I will dare say that they have outdone Bungie on every level. That's my opinion, but that's why I want to know yours. Take it away, Wandering Dutch.
Yeah, definitely. I think before we even got to talking about how great we think Halo is, we all said exactly the same thing, and that was the campaign needed to hit it out the park. Both in story front and in the gameplay, but also the new direction that they're taking it, and I think they've achieved that. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth review myself on my channel, but I'll keep it to my overview of my gameplay. I have completed the game on normal. I have pretty much maxed out everything on the map. So I've done all the high priority targets. I've done all the FOBs. I've done all the rescue calls for all of the different Marine squads. I found all the calls, found all the lockers. What else have I done? Found all the rings that you find around the map. Of course, you activate the relics, the big Halo rings that are dotted around the map as well. I have literally played this game to death. I've got 94% completion on normal difficulty.
Nice.
And that is with just shy of 20 hours worth of gameplay. I will be going back through. There's another achievement there that is completed in under 8 hours. I'm not going to pain myself to do that on a hard difficulty. I'm going to fly through that for the achievement. But I will also then, when the co-op comes out, do the legendary with all skulls on in co-op to get that one. So I will 100%.
And that is going to that's going to be a lengthy playthrough because on legendary with all skulls on co-op. Oh my god!
Yeah. I've got to do a shout out quickly to a big gamer / and awesome PlayStation community member, Mr. Pio. You'll have seen him on Twitter opening up his PlayStation games, ripping them open with his mouth and things like that. He's insane, but he's such a great guy in the community. But I've got to give a huge shout out to him, and I feel so sorry for him because he did 94% completion of the legendary campaign solo, and his game corrupted and lost the entire save.
Oh no! Oh man, that would destroy me.
So, I mean, he took it well. He said he was fuming, but he took it well. He didn't go out and start slating the game or anything like that. He just said, "Oh God," he's like, "I'm gutted." He loves the game as well. He absolutely loves it.
That's unusual. Dutch. Have you heard people having corruptions and stuff?
It's a PC issue, I think. I think it's an issue on. There was some kind of save issue where if you did X, Y, and Z, the save would corrupt.
Would not save.
It was such a limited thing, and there's not many people that have had it, so it's just one of the very unfortunate few that it's happened to. But
it's a shame that 343 can't do something about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give him a save spot somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
It might be. The thing is it might be in there somewhere. So we save. It's deleted now, but it might be somewhere on their database. And they can recover it internally or something. You never know. Hopefully at some point. But he loves the game regardless, and he was just gutted to get so far and to not. So he said afterwards he just went online and looked up the ending. He was like, "Yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna look up the ending. I'm not going through legendary again." Like,
that's rough.
That's fair.
I would be devastated.
But the game itself, in terms of the open world, it has for the vast majority of people. They've loved it. I have seen a few people that are still unsure about the open world aspect of it. I loved it. I found the traversal really easy. The grappling hook is an absolute lifesaver for getting anywhere and everywhere you need. Especially if you've leveled it up, you can actually use it to pull yourself along the floor much quicker, to go quickly forward as opposed to just like running around. You can just grapple hook the floor a few feet in front of you and it swings you forward and gives you a boost. Obviously, you can use it to traverse high areas. When you've unlocked all the FOBs and got it high enough, you can then unlock the Wasp and then fly around, and that just unlocks another level of versatility. A lot of people have been complaining about the Warthogs and how they're handled, but I think if you think back in terms, the Warthogs have never been the best handling things in the world. They've always been bouncy as hell, and they've just retained that. Obviously, they're never going to be the most comfortable things to drive, but they get you from A to B. It's a squad carrier at the end of the day. It's not meant to rally around, really. It's meant to have a full squad in it. The actual gameplay, though, the map is enormous. The level of detail in the map is unbelievable. The the attention to detail they've put into little nooks and crannies. Like you'll go up to the top of a random cliff in the middle of nowhere, and there's like a hideout where there's obviously been a sniper marine or a Spartan that's just been sitting there, and he's got like his backpack and
You got the
maybe like
MREs there.
Yeah.
It's the detail is bananas.
It's like it's lived in, and people have been there, and things have happened there, and you actually want to learn more about what has just happened. Like I'm really intrigued to see how the fight went down on Zeta Halo before Chief got there. Like the map is obliterated. You'll find random crash sites at the top of mountains, and like, and not even just like the UNSC ships, but banished ships crashed everywhere, and just finding. Obviously, then you go into random rooms in the middle of nowhere, and you see loads of banished just like dead on the floor, and then just like a random like Marines where firefights have happened and things, and there's such the level of detail and care they've put into the entire world. That coupled with the audio logs for both sides, so the banished is more kind of telling their story, whereas the audio logs for the Marines and the Spartans are more technically how they were tortured for information,
yes,
or how they were kind of surrounded in firefights throughout. And you do. I mean,
they even get into some Spartan ones that you find that you learn on how that they were like really like beaten up over this. It's again. Please, if you are a fan of Halo, you take the time to go looking for these things.
What I would say as well to that is that everyone like there's obviously a subsect that will say, well, why didn't you just put this into the game and things like that? But because if they added every section of audio log, every individual character that was in these audio logs, or that you find throughout the game into actual gameplay, the game would be about 300 hours long. Like,
I don't think I'd have a problem with that, to be honest with you, but okay.
But, you know what I mean, though? But there's so many different.
Some of us have been playing it for 2 days straight, you know.
So many people involved. It's just, it would take an eternity to tell them all. So what they want to do is just give more background as to what happened on Zeta Halo before the Chief come down and tried to actually take out the Banished.
Yes. If I can add something, Dutch, to your point with the logs, and then Boom might appreciate this too, real fast. But for me, when I heard the logs, it's very reminiscent of an early Resident Evil when you read the journals.
Yes.
You know? And that adds to the lore in a way where it doesn't just affect you intellectually, but you feel it. You know, and to Dutch's point, most of the audio logs that you find, whether it be Banished or UNSC, but especially the UNSC, you find them in areas that pertain to what they're talking about. Like, for example, and this doesn't spoil anything, but one of the UNSC ones, it's he talks about escaping a prison, and you literally find that log in the spot where he presumably escaped that prison. So that level of immersion, as you were saying, with the logs is something that it's not just a side thing to me. It's very special, and it adds to the lore 100%.
Yeah, 100%. To touch on that as well, there was one that I found outside of, it was one of the big Covenant like spires, and it was a Marine that was the audio log was a Marine that was getting tortured, and he's like, well, what else do you need to know? Like, there's nothing else I can tell you. And he's like, well, you've been free, but the human mind's weak. But there's a lot more that I think, a lot more information that you've still got to give. So take them to the tower. And he's like, well, and you can hear the anguish in the guy's voice. He's like, well, I've told you what I know. There's nothing else I can tell you. And he's like, well, I think you've got more to tell, so I'm going to torture you anyway. And that's where the audio communication tears off. But the actual audio logs found outside of the tower where he gets tortured. But there's so many of them there, and some of them are in like little hidden sections and areas you wouldn't think of looking.
A lot of cave stuff as well.
There's a lot, like the map itself isn't just there for just to look pretty. Like, the entire map has been well thought out, and like I said, areas you wouldn't even think to look, like especially when you get the wasp, you land on top of somewhere, think, right, I'm just going to get this point, and then you find random things just scattered around, or like you'll think, why is there like a load of banished just standing at the top of this cliff, but then they're surrounding this beacon, and then there's an audio log near it, and then there's like loads of people where there's obviously a big battle's happened. And it's just in the middle of nowhere. You think, right, okay, so they've actually sparsely populated this entire place. There's a lot to learn. And if you're a big Halo fan and you want to dive into the world a lot, there is a lot to take in, and there's a lot of lore there, both in the game and the story itself, as well as outside of that, even in afterwards. Now, I actually, after completing the game, I started doing all the mopping up of stuff. Retrospectively, I wish I'd went around, found a lot of these audio logs, and then completed the campaign. I think it would have given more backstory to the campaign before I continued the main storyline as it would afterwards, when I was like, right, okay, that's really cool, but I think it would have felt more emphasis if I'd have picked up all of these audio logs prior to finishing.
That's why I won't leave an area until I found everything.
So I think, like I say, to anyone who's still going through it, I would definitely implore you, like Boom said, it isn't just a side thing. These audio logs are really, really something. And obviously they're all voice acted by both whoever plays the Banish actors, as well as all the different Marines and Spartans, and they're all fully voice acted to a very high level. It's very believable.
Shakespeare trained monkeys.
Yeah,
them monkeys, man. Oh, they have some vocabulary, boy. Ooh,
and then speaking of voice acting, let's give a massive round out and applause to the grunts. The grunts are phenomenal.
Especially when you find the propaganda towers. Sit back, before you destroy it, sit back and listen. There was one talking about his girlfriend. There was one talking about the Master Chief specifically. When I get him, he's gonna be, almost said basically he's gonna make the Master Chief his bitch. Like, I mean, they don't curse, but it's like hilarious.
Three of the standout ones that I've heard, and I love them all for them. Is it one grunt? Obviously, the suicide ones where they hold the two, or like the two sticky bombs in the hand. He lights them up and he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to do this." Ah! And he's like, "I didn't mean to set these off."
There was one time where one of where you'll hear like the brutes say, "Oh no, we should have brought more grunts," right? Because you killed all of them first, and they want to throw them at you. And then there's another one where like it's on the speaker, and they're sort of like they're talking about the demon. They're like, his blood is red, your blood is red, your team is blue, and I bet your parents don't remember you.
That's so good. Was it you, Dutch, who did the one where after you beat it, and I haven't beat it, but it goes, "Oh yeah, you beat it, but did you beat it on Legendary?"
Wow.
It says that. Like, it's amazing. It's on Twitter.
There's a lot of
Some
them
dude
like
beat
that
it
where
and
they
said
call
that.
you out. It's insane. Like, I've seen two of them from other guys as well, where there was this the guy missed like 5 or 6 sniper shots in a row, and the elite went, "Look at him, he can't even aim."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Halo. Yeah.
And then there's another one as
I
well
heard
where
Joseph Staten does the voice for the grunts.
Not all of them, but he
all
does
of
it for
them,
most of
them.
them.
Yeah.
Great.
I got killed by a grunt once, and he started laughing. Just, I killed him.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I
pretty
did
funny.
I did it.
Oh my
God.
As well, where the Master Chief had the hammer, and this grunt was outside of the hangar, and he went, "Are you still there? Are you still mad?" He's like, "Yes, I'm still mad." So he comes out and whacks him. He's like trying to get him not to kill him. "Are you still mad at me, Chief?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm still mad."
I think this is the funniest version of Halo ever.
It really is. It's very MCU like.
That's another thing to point out that they've done so well with this game. Master Chief and Cortana have always had banter, but never to this level.
Right.
The way they talk and they go back and forth. It
and the
is
weapon is
really, really good.
Yeah.
Right. Like I remember that they went to go see some monitor, and you don't know if the monitor is good or bad, and then they see some other enemy, and he's like, "Those enemies are bad," and then she's like, "What about the monitor? Possibly bad." And then she's like, "See, progress."
It's you are right. Like, and again, it's contrasting. People might or might not like the weapon. We obviously story spoilers. We won't talk about anything other than on how we feel about the weapon as a code name. But I loved the to and fro between them. And again, contrary to a lot of people, I also like the pilot as much as he liked to. It brought a more human feel to it, and primarily because you have to remember, and everyone's like, oh, well, it's a war zone and the chief is like this mega Spartan. Yeah, he might be a mega Spartan, but the pilot is a person. He's a human. He's not like this bioengineered super soldier. He has limits that the chief doesn't. So he's going to be scared regardless of what the chief does, because the chief might live through something that he won't. So there's a lot of human emotions there. Of course, there's this one section in there that a lot of people talk about, and it's talking about how he asked the chief, "Oh, well, you've never made any mistakes." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I have. I have made a massive mistake, and that was like messing up Cortana and not protecting her when I should have protected her and helped her out." And that was a really heartfelt scene. And of course, when you get to that, you'll see what I mean. But there's a lot of those kinds of scenes, and the ending for me as well. I loved the ending to the game, and I can't wait for other people to kind of show their thoughts on it.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
Dutch,
there's
man.
been there's been a lot of controversy with the ending.
Yeah.
Some people really disliked it. I feel that if you like the game and you're a Halo fan, you're gonna quite enjoy the ending. I don't know what it is. I didn't have it spoiled, so I can't wait. But there are a lot of emotional moments here. Where specifically when you come across other downed Spartans, the way that he touches them, you feel it. It's
the first Spartan you're
moment.
talking about as well, isn't it? The first one that's imprisoned and you let him down, and then he's talking.
Yeah.
That's the one you're thinking of, isn't it, Boom? The one where he's like straddled up.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
And he obviously you can't see him getting upset, but you can tell because he just goes dead silent, and the weapon's trying to talk to him, and he's just not responding. She's like, "Are you okay?" He's just
this. Am I wrong, or is this the most dialogue the Master Chief has ever had in any game?
100%. Yeah,
he's also very sure of himself too. When they were talking about one of the bad guys, they're like, "I don't know, Chief. You know, he's got a really bad reputation." And he turns around.
Like,
and he
so
just
do
says,
I.
Yeah. I love that line, but the way he said, he's like, "So do I." And I was just like, "Holy shit, this guy means business." Because
that's Clint Eastwood level.
Like he usually doesn't talk that aggressively either, right? I mean,
a lot of people didn't know this. The Master Chief's middle name is Means Business. John Means Business 117.
There's another section in it as well that I really like that puts the chief into perspective. And obviously, at the very opening of the game, and everyone should have seen the opening to it now. Anyway, he gets obliterated by Atriox, like humiliated, just smashed around the place, and then thrown out.
It reminded me of Destiny 2's opening.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you just drops you off of that monster cliff, and it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. There's a
I
section.
would say the opening of the game reminds me of Infinity War more than anything else.
Yeah.
Think about it.
The Hulk versus
that's all we gotta say. Infinity War.
Yeah.
But there's a section in there where the chief is he's doubting his capabilities because of how well Atriox tore him apart. He's sitting there and he's going, he methodically and medically destroyed me top to bottom without even trying. Like, he wiped me out. He's like, and I just won't stand for it. And that's what drives him even more. He's like, I won't let that happen again.
Yeah.
And you can see that throughout the story. He's obviously he's angry throughout the story.
A lot of people in the chat are saying we're spoiling the thing.
No, that's not spoilers at all.
That's opening of the game.
It's only spoiling it if you haven't turned it on. Literally the opening scene.
The opening scene.
Speaking of spoilers, remember that there's a part when they were introducing the game. It's part of the ads, but people have seen it. Microsoft themselves actually showed it off, where Escharum is speaking to the Spartan. Steal your heart, Spartan. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that they should have maybe left that out? Because I feel like when you see it in the game and they expound on it, and it's more than what he announced in the
it's more.
Trailer.
But
it was so good. They trimmed a lot of it down for the ads, but when you see it in its full context, it is that's why I'm like, the Shakespeare monkeys. It is so good, so well spoken. You're just like, it's very, very, very good.
Yeah, I wish they had kept that out of an audio log from Escharum, who was talking about his home planet and whatever, without spoilers. But that one was that's super interesting too. And I made sure to record the real scene, like the in-game scene of that speech that we got, because we got that speech during the Craig reveal, right?
Yes.
And it plays a little different, like the
Yes,
audio
it does.
of it.
Exactly.
And so it's really interesting. But I do think I'm not upset that we got that, because I didn't really feel it when we first saw it, because of the whole everything
in the
else going on
context
with
of the
Craig.
game, you really do feel it,
Right.
And,
so
and then of
it
course
hits different.
And then of course, after the third or fourth time you hear him give similar monologues, the weapon goes, "Thank you," and then keeps it moving. It was absolutely hilarious. So good. The timing, the comedic timing in that thing is so good. Very, very good.
Her attitude throughout the whole thing really does like change as well, and it's great. Like sometimes she's nice and helpful, other times she's naive, other times she's like really sassy,
snarky.
She's very she's very sassy. Yes, absolutely. Very confident, especially she snaps her fingers for stuff to happen. You're like, wow, where did that come from? Yeah.
She also knows when there's an emotional moment that she has to come in and play that role. And it's funny because that's really just the AI kind of reading the human emotions and trying to do what's needed in that moment.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's Dutch, are you done with your point, brother?
Yeah. Last point really is I would to clarify this. Obviously, I'm going to go through my score, etc. on mine.
Yes.
But to clarify, this is outside of Halo 2 was always my favorite in terms of story.
Okay.
Outside of Halo 2, this is by far my favorite Halo game out of all of them. Halo 2 and obviously that story still kind of tops it, but in terms of gameplay, in terms of game, etc., it's by far my most favorite Halo. So that is my roundup.
Yeah, I mean, so you don't want to give you a score because obviously you're saving it for when you do your and that's perfectly fine.
It is a must play, and not just for any Halo fan. That's what I'll say. It is a must play.
That's well said. Absolutely. And again, don't give it away, because obviously tune into his video, which he's putting together, and it's going to have 4K 60 footage for the whole video. So definitely go and check that out. Bango Mango. Let's get you've heard everyone's opinion, but we're interested to get yours. This is a big deal on a multitude of levels for Microsoft, Xbox, and 343 Industries. A lot of people said they couldn't do it. They did it. They did it on both sides of the coin. We got incredible multiplayer, which they're expanding on this week with the big update. They're going to continue to expand on that. We got the single player campaign, which again, for me, like Dutch, my favorite Halo of all time was 3. I played it to the point where it was ridiculous. I did beat that on Legendary on co-op, and it was incredible. I played an obscene amount of multiplayer, which is why I walked away from 4 and 5 disappointed because of how much time I actually spent in there. But they delivered on both aspects. Where do you put this in your box for favorite Halo? What is your score, and what have you experienced so far?
Oh man, I can see why you want to make this section long, because we could go off about this.
Well, I mean, it's a conversational podcast, so
yes,
go crazy.
Absolutely. But yeah, man. So to add to it, if I had to sum it up in a spark note, the king is back, baby. The king is back, and he's back when you got football players doing the teabag on top of the main ESPN screen. So in mind share and in gameplay and in story, for me, I'm very similar. I'm very similar to you, Boom. I'm very similar to you, Mag, in how I play. I'm playing Halo Infinite like how I play my Pokemon games. So I don't know if you guys know in the anime of Pokemon, but Pikachu beats Onix in the anime by doing a Thundershock and stuff. And so for me, I play Pokemon where I need to level up my Pokemon so strong that Pikachu could actually beat Onix in the game, which is a very hard feat. So in the same way, I'm very similar to you guys in I need to level up Chief. I need to find all these things. I want my Chief to be the most strongest, badass Chief coming into any of the main storyline missions. And plus, as an open world fan myself, I just enjoy exploring the world and things like that. And so for me, if I had to sum up the game into 2 points, without any spoilers as well, that has really stuck out to me and really means a lot to me. One would be the open world sandbox.
Yes.
And I want to pose a question out to the panel and pose a question out to the chat too. I don't know if this is going to be slander in itself, as Kiasante likes to say, but I have a theory in regards to what makes this so good. And this is, at least for me, in my opinion, we can all agree that Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest open world. If anything, maybe started and changed the whole aspect of how we view open world gaming.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, cool. And now the question after that is what I was thinking of is why? What makes it so good? And one can talk about the story, one can talk about the gameplay. For me, it's very similar, and I would like to compare it to Halo in that type of way. That when you take a legacy game like Zelda, you take a legacy game like Halo, where there's lore, 1, 2, 3, there's memories connected to that, and you change the system up a little bit to the point where it's not new in the gaming space, but because you're adding the legacy to that, it's a special new experience.
Yes.
That's what I feel about the Halo sandbox. I feel like you're taking the legacy of Halo, which was in the beginning very linear, CE 2, 3. You can think like there's different kind of changes and stuff in the environment, which Halo Infinite doesn't have too much, but it's a very linear game. You're going through the story, you're going through the mission lines, lots of hallways and things like that. But for me, it was seeing that legacy in a new light, seeing that legacy in a new way. And even though it's not new in the sense of open world in the gaming space, it's like when you're grapple shotting up at the highest peak, and you're just like, wow, just wandering. And then when you're wandering around, you see a little encampment of jackals, you see a little encampment of grunts, just sitting there in the middle of nowhere, and you thought you'd be all alone, and they're talking and they're being like, oh, the demon's going to come, and when he comes, I'm going to defeat him. It's aspects like that make it special to me. You think this is Halo, you think Halo for what it is and what you've experienced, and now this is a whole new way of seeing Halo. It's an open world Halo, it's an engaging Halo.
Yeah, I want to add to that as well.
Brother, yeah.
It's I think Joseph Staten said it when he come on board as well, when he talked about kind of having played the campaign, because he played it months ago and said he played it like 3-4 times over.
Yeah.
He specifically said this is the Halo we wanted to make when we made Halo.
Yes.
In terms of the world and the way the world is created, the open world WoW feature, the exploration, and that was what made Halo CE so special, because it was the first time something had been done like that. It was this big universe you could explore in all these levels and drive around and things and flying things and just explore. And they've just took that, put it on steroids, and this is Infinite. Yeah. Infinite is what CE wanted to be in terms of its world design. And it's eventually being realized. And of course, this is just the start. I think personally that future expansions will open up different sections of the ring going forward. They expand the map up a bit, get little new areas to go. As we know, of course, the banished are all over this place. Of course, the ring is a big place. It's not just the broken section we're on, so there's quite obviously more banished everywhere. And not just on this one broken section we're fighting on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to go, but you're 100% right in the world. In terms of the Breath of the Wild thing, I've forgotten his name now, but he's got it on Twitter, and the mechanics as well. When you mention Breath of the Wild, using the grapple shot, firing off like on a blown up vehicle that fires wild across the map, and he's like grappling across it to get to the other side of the map, and that's the kind of stuff you can do with the mechanics on Breath of the Wild. You can just like use the mechanics to fire a rock and then use that to travel across the map if you need to and know how to. So yeah, 100% right when it comes to Breath of the Wild, and that's why people are comparing it to it, not just the world, but the mechanics. Yeah. And the way they both use the mechanics to traverse the world is very reminiscent of each other. So 100%.
No, absolutely. And I think I seen the one where he hits it and he flies, he grapple shots, and then he switches to the repulsor, which kind of just jetpacks him across the whole entire level. And see, and it's aspects like that, and it's not just like the mechanics, but you're having like, to add to that point, you're having Halo sandbox mechanics, and Halo is known for their sandbox, and I love that. And when we eventually get co-op, it's gonna be like playing a whole nother game. You know, it's a must play run through again, and it's one where it's not like I feel like I'm coming back to a new world, which adds to my second and last point of what makes this game so special to me. But it's the way that the sandbox interacts with your imagination, and it interacts with your creativity. And I think we can kind of all relate to this. But when I was playing Halo Infinite, I haven't felt this way, guys. I haven't felt this way about a game since maybe I was in elementary school or middle school, and I'm going to explain it here. So um it's like, the best way I can explain it is like, the way you kill that brute chief boss is not going to be the same way that I kill the brute chief boss. You know, it's going to be different. And I like the another way I can describe it is the targets. So inside Halo Infinite, there's targets. There's people within the game that are kind of like bounties, and then you seek them out.
Yeah, the high value targets. Yeah.
The high value targets, yes. Each of these high value targets, each of these bounties have a little backstory to it. So when you look inside of the main menu screen, it's going to have a little history, a little lore of what those high value targets are, you know? And going through the game, very similar to when I was in middle school and stuff, because it's open world, because it gives me just a little bit, but not too much of the lore and things like that, I create this game for myself now. I create my playthrough is going to be the story of how Master Chief took out this high value target, if you can kind of get where I'm going at with that.
Yeah.
You know, for example, there's one target, and I'm not going to get into the names because I don't want to, if Infinity War is spoiling too much, then I don't want to spoil anything for the chat. So there's a target where it talks about this grunt, and it describes this grunt as like very bloodthirsty. You know,
I know which one you're talking
yeah, you know what I'm
about,
talking about. Yeah, he's a bloodthirsty grunt. He has tortured his enemies, and so in my head, I'm like, wow, this is a very it's an intense grunt. And so I'm expecting all of these things. I'm like, and I come in and I roll into the thing. I take out his whole encampment, and then I'm like, okay, normally these high value targets are pretty tough, and they have special weapons with them. I take a fusion coil, I fling it at this grunt, and he dies. Not even the shield goes down now. This man dies on the spot based upon a fusion coil. And that's what I'm talking about. It's now, I'm taking the lore, I'm taking my imagination, I'm taking the way that I did the game. And now it's a hilarious moment for me that in the lore of this Halo Infinite for Bango Mango, this quote unquote deadly grunt was destroyed in one hit of a fusion coil. You know, and that imagination, I haven't felt that since I played things like GTA, my first run through of GTA.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that since playing where you have that imagination as a kid and you're like, oh, I'm going to take out this person by grapple shotting up in the air and pulling out my skewer and shooting him in the face, you know, and like those moments add to the open world, they add to the lore, and they add to what make Halo Infinite special for me. Is I feel like, and we all know this, the whole tag of Master Chief is you are Master Chief. You definitely feel that aspect when playing through Halo Infinite. You feel like the things that you are doing within this game is yours and yours alone. And then to wrap everything up and just a nice bow, like I have to just reiterate, the king is back, and it makes me really happy as an avid Halo fan. As Bossman Dutch was explaining earlier, we were all kind of worried, especially if you're a Halo fan, you're worried about how the campaign's going to hit. You're worried how everyone's going to take it, especially based upon the initial gameplay footage that they showed. So to me, what rates a game isn't just the story and isn't just the gameplay, but I like to look at the whole legacy of how it came from its first trailer to how the community kind of has embraced it. And 343 has done an amazing feat of almost quote unquote being like a laughing stock in 2020 and based upon what they showed, and literally turned into a meme where they took all of that and they gave us an amazing multiplayer. They gave us a story based upon what everyone here has said and what everyone in the chat has said has been phenomenal thus far. And I believe someone else said that they brought back the excitement, they brought back the passion for this game. And to me, that's what makes this game, and not to be to slowly stab a knife in the hearts of my seasoned panel here, but I played Halo CE when I was in 6th grade.
Wow.
There you go. That was my first experience of playing that, you know. And what's special about it to me, playing in 6th grade, you know, I don't really follow along the story too much and things like that. It was just the memories for me. And that's what makes Halo for me. It's the memories of playing a LAN party. It's the memories of co-oping with your friend till 2-3 o'clock at night and trying to finish, you know, that legendary on Maw on the last level. You know, it's these moments that encapsulate, I feel like, what it is to be a gamer. Because gamers are, when you're talking about a specific game, you're not just talking about how the game rates. You're talking about a specific memory that is dear to you. Yeah. And to me, because 343 has able to bring back that excitement where Halo, the excitement of Halo back in the day was when Halo dropped, everyone knew about it, everyone talked about it, and it became pop culture. And I'm seeing that again. I'm seeing that in the story. I'm seeing that in the commercials. I'm seeing that in the trains and the subways having Master Chief on it. I'm seeing it in the way that you guys describe the game and how you guys want to just get back to it immediately after Boom's show concludes. And
right back to Halo.
Right back to Halo. And that's what excites me. And that's why I would have to give this game a 9.5. I'm probably going to give it a 10, honestly. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I haven't finished the story yet. So just like Mag, I'm going to give it a solid 9.5. The only thing that could make this better for me is if Mountain Dew now just brings back those orange flavored Halo sodas. Next to Baja Blast, brother. Those were the best Mountain Dew sodas, and it made the Halo experience better playing it with your friends. So if they bring that back, best Halo I've ever played in my life.
There you go. That's awesome.
Well said. Before we get to Sour Blow Gaming, I got to catch up with some of the super chats. But just to show you my age, you were 6. You were in 6th grade. You said when you played Halo CE. Yes. I was starting my 7th year in the NYPD. So yeah, I'm old. No doubt about that. But Sir X-Man drops a $2 super chat and says, Halo sounds like getting everything in Crackdown. Indeed, there is some correlation to that.
Very Crackdown-esque.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
very Crackdown-esque. On the bright side, drops a $5 super chat and says, spoiler, the ending is great. It fired on all cylinders for me. I'm not sure why Dealer didn't like it. Yeah, Dealer Gaming did not like the ending, which is I saw in his video. I don't know why. And
I was going to say, you know what, the double. It was a kind of a double-edged thing. His comment about the ending. I think it was more because he just wanted it to keep going because he was enjoying it that much.
Yeah,
it was the fact that it ended. That was why he didn't like it, because it finished.
It seemed like he said it ended abruptly for him or something.
Yeah, and to be fair to Dealer, he was just saying he was taken aback because he felt like whatever happened was very unexpected, and he felt like he would have had a better experience had he known. So he's just saying, there's going to be a cliffhanger. Just understand that, and you can. Now that you expect it, it probably will hit you different than it hit him. So I don't think he was.
Every Halo that's come out has always ended on a cliffhanger.
Abruptly, yes, absolutely, certainly has.
There's never been like a defining. Okay, that's the end of this story, because they don't want the Halo universe to have a point where it's the end of the story. They want that lore to continue, and there's so many stories to tell.
Only Halo 3, I think, had like a proper ending, right? But you can go back to play Guardians and how you spend all this time to get to Halsey, and all she says is it took you long enough, and the credits roll. Yep. So as long as it's not bad like Guardians.
That. Spoiler for Guardians.
Nobody's going back to play that.
You did. You did.
That was before Infinte came out.
Well, listen.
I can hear about Guardians in the audio log.
Actually, one thing I did want to mention audio very briefly there. I want to add to it though. The audio in this game is phenomenal.
Yes.
Across
Very
the board,
precise. Very
from the
precise.
ambient noises, from the birds and the insects, and the distant kind of howls of creatures, and then, like you mentioned, the grunts you can hear miles away having a talk between each other. The weapons sound amazing. The audio in this game is phenomenal, top to bottom, especially when you're wearing headphones with Dolby Atmos. It is just, it is chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, you're definitely onto something with the sound. Like I said, I talked about it in the video today. The sound is phenomenal, from the birds chirping to the guns firing. Everything is just perfect.
I'm sorry, Gamer by Choice. He says thanks. He's playing Guardians right now.
Oh wow! Brett Bingham says
you had 6 years, man.
Brett Bingham drops a $5 super chat. Says the only thing I wish different they would have the Scarab battles from Halo 3 and Infinite. By the way, there's a post-credit scene that you need to see. Interesting. Brian Hopkins drops an additional $5 super chat and says that this Halo goes back to what they said about the original Halo games. They focused on creating that 30-second of fun and looping it over and over again. Indeed, I agree. That's exactly what it's like. But Sarah Blow Gaming, let's get your opinion and your review of Halo Infinite from 343 Industries.
Okay, first of all, I gotta say I'm gonna go back and play them again, because my son, he's 5. He actually has become a fan of Halo just watching me. He loves Halo. Awesome. He made me buy him like a little Halo action figure.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm planning on
start him young, bro. Start him young.
That's right.
That's what it's about, though. That's what it's about. It's just like inspiring the next generation of gamers and dreamers, and that's what franchises like Halo have done. And obviously, your son's just watched you, hasn't even played it for himself yet, and he's been watching, and he's like, "Whoa, that's cool."
Yeah. And well, my experience, I kind of played it a little bit different from most of the panel, from what I hear. What I do is I go to a certain area in the map, and I do everything like around the area. But if there's a story part, I do that story element also at the same time. And then I keep moving through the map. That's what I'm doing right now. And I gotta say, I actually have some notes here. The panel did a great job. You went through almost everything I have in the notes that I have written. I even wrote the grunts dialogues. They're hilarious. They're pretty funny. Even the elites and all the elements. And I like that every single like enemy have their own kind of dialogues, but their dialogues go with their personality. You're not gonna hear a brute sounding like a grunt. You're not gonna hear an elite sounding like
you have a point there. The best games, you hear duplicate dialogue. I have not heard a single duplicate dialogue in this game.
No,
you make a good point.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic point. I didn't even think about that.
It's the way they talk to each other as well. Like grunts are always like really like hyped up until you start attacking them, and then they're just like, "Whoa, no!"
Yeah.
But the elites are not. The elites are just like, "No, I'm going to kill you," all the way up until they die. They're still really angry, and they just just hate you.
Yeah, and then the brutes, they don't have much dialogue. They just go after you, but they do say a few things once in a while, and I like that. I like all the attention to all the details, the audios. I think graphically, it looks great. It's not like the next, like the Hellblade graphically, but I like the art style. It kind of reminds me of the first 3 Halos, which I love that. And let me see what else. I like how fluid the game goes, the combat, the guns, the sounds of the guns. They feel amazing. They feel differently. But we kind of all knew that from the multiplayer. Let me see what else I got written that maybe. Well, basically, it's all the combination, as I think Bango said, from the whole environment. As you're playing, you're going through, you hear conversations, you hear the animals, you hear the sounds of everything around it. I think this game, like, it's the sandbox, and it's the way that you play it the way you want to play it.
Yes.
Like sometimes I go to a certain area and there's a lot of brutes, a lot of elites, etc. And I try to kill them a certain way. It doesn't work. It makes me think, oh, maybe I should try something different. Maybe I should do it this way. Maybe I should, maybe I should try to sneak. There's a lot of jackals. Maybe I should get rid of the jackals first. Snipers, jackals, and it's really it's amazing. I love all those elements. I love so far. Also, something I like from the story is the way they're telling the story by bits and pieces, and you're kind of like adding every bits and pieces of the story, and you're kind of putting together that whole puzzle. It's not like a lot of these games, they just tell you the story like um it's just a story like start to end, and it's like they tell you everything about the story. I like that you have to add all the pieces by also like, yeah, you mentioned before. I think it was Keisante mentioned it. When you get the audios and you listen to it, and they have to do with where you at the point. Like if you're in the prison and you hear the Marine that actually escaped from the prison, that kind of add to the element of the story. It's really good. Like it's pretty well detailed. I really like that.
I mean, there's a lot to get into, and there's a lot you can miss. Like I said, if you are a fan of the lore, I do think you owe it to yourself to not just beat the game to say, "Hey, I beat Halo Infinite in 15 hours and it sucked." Listen, if you're gonna spend 15 hours in the game, spend another 15 hours, especially if you enjoy and you've been waiting for a long time for a new Halo game to come back, and this has come back in a big way, and it's all of the little story beats added with the open world and the new weapons and the way that you traverse the world and the new vehicles. It is the complete package. But let's get Everborn Saga, his opinion on it, and we will get everyone on out of here. By all means, give us what you got, Everborn.
All right, I'm gonna save you some trouble. The game's a 10 out of 10. Now let me tell you why. This is the most fun I have ever had playing a Halo game, a Halo campaign in 20 years, right? It is the most fun Halo campaign, bar none, right? Now, I have not completed the campaign yet, so I can't call it the best Halo, because for me, the best Halo is Halo 3. But once I complete it, we'll see where that stands. But as of today, is a 10 out of 10. And this is the thing that is, and you see it now when you play it, but it's hard to describe. And this is I think part of the problem that 343 was in. It's hard to describe what this game is and what it accomplishes without putting the game in your hands. And when you see all of these systems sort of working together to create something special like this, to where, everyone's experience with it is different, but the feeling is the same, if that makes sense, right? It is something special, and it is something beautiful, right? It's not just the graphics or the story or the nostalgia or the grunt dialogue or the challenge or the grapple hook. It is all of those things put together, and at any moment you can just sit back and look at the game and say, wow, right? They have made so many wow moments, and more wow than something you would see in maybe some of the other games that have a smaller scope, but higher fidelity, right? When you think of the scope of what this game is doing and the respect that they pay the characters, everyone involved in it, and the respect they pay you as a fan, some of us are 20-year friends of this thing. And it feels like they made this thing with us in mind. And this is an example of what you get when you put gameplay first. And don't let anybody tell you, people try to make fun of people saying, oh, it's fun. Yes, that is why we game, right? This is a world that you can get lost in, and you want to get lost, right? So
Everborn, quick question for you specifically, because you are a Zelda stan. What do you think to those who mention it and call it the Breath of the Wild of Halo?
No, you call it, now you will refer to things as things that feel like Halo Infinite. Do not compare this to anything else. Zelda is Zelda and Halo is Halo. And I think they've done, listen, to your point, Boom, they have stepped out of the shadow of Bungie.
100%.
Halo is theirs.
Yes.
Right? And listen, the coalition has taken over Gears. Nobody questions that. That's the coalition. They don't say Epic's thing. They don't mention Epic when they talk about Gears. You don't bring up Bungie when we're talking about Halo anymore. They have had it longer, right? I would argue that they have realized it in its fullest potential. And just to think, this is only the beginning. You listen, a house is only as good as its foundation, right? The foundation that they have set out here, we can all just easily think of different ways this thing could go forward, and you just want more. And I want to explore new parts of the ring. I want to explore new biomes. I want to find new Forerunner installations. I want to bring my multiplayer character and play with people in this world, PvE.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That could be something that they could move to, because I like that idea. This is, bringing your multiplayer Spartan that's designed by you into this world would be a big miss if they don't eventually touch on that. I absolutely 100% agree, because this world is big.
Imagine once co-op is out, if this world is just populated, not just with a team of 4 co-op people, but just other people online, and you just go around and do stuff and have fun in this world. They've created something, they call it semi-open world, but this world, it is so well realized, right? And everything is so meticulously done. Like, again, the sum of the parts is greater than each individual thing, so to speak, right? And what they've done here is like, it is nothing short of amazing. And listen, I love those sort of story-based games, but like the idea that you're just in this sandbox and we're not doing these set pieces where you gotta press X so that you can have this special camera angle and then flip under somebody and then press Y to do a punch. No, this is the game. Figure out how to do it. It is not scripted. You just go play, have fun, figure it out. Like I cannot tell you when was the last time I have had this much fun playing any game, because I feel like so often today, like, and this is, and the story in this game is amazing, and the way they're telling it is amazing.
Yes.
But so often these days, all we're looking at is story and set pieces and judging that and calling that this is what it means to play a game, right? This is what it is. This is what you want. This is the pinnacle of Halo, and it only grows from here. And we haven't even really got the next gen update yet. Nope. There's no ray tracing, right? Like, this thing is only the beginning. I can't wait till the next story expansion.
And it won't really be a next gen update. It's a last gen game, really.
Yeah.
Who cares?
You know what I add to that as well in terms of story, by the way? It's the greatest thing about this as well is it's a Halo universe where, yes, everyone has the same campaign, but the world itself they've created allows everybody to have a different story. and a different way that things turn out, and a different way that you've attacked things, and a different the world itself is different for everybody that plays it, and depending on the way that you play it and the route that you've taken or the order you've played it in, and how fights turn out, and everybody's experience is a little bit different to everybody else's. So the
speaking to what you're saying, Dutch, real quick, let me give a pro tip before we end the stream. If you're playing this and you want to have more fun and you don't even want to deal with spoilers or anything like that, what is the not the Warthog, but the variation that can have like 5-6 soldiers all in the same vehicle? What's it called? The Razorback.
Yeah.
Make sure you grab either. I did half snipers, half rockets. Make sure you give all your soldiers one on one side and one on the other side, and just drive around. Oh man, I call it the killing machine. They'll just walk around sniping things for you. You won't even have to do a damn thing. Just strolling through and watching them murder everything is because they have the best weapons.
And they have unlimited rockets, which is pretty.
And they have unlimited rockets, yes, because they do it and it's unlimited.
No,
so they'll just walk around sniping things for you.
That's going to be a whole mission for me with finding good weapons for all my Marines, right? And again, just to kind of finish this point up.
Go ahead.
This is exactly what I imagined and hoped. Not that I knew that it would be this, but this is the best that I could hope for Halo to be in terms of experience and fun. And people say it's rough around the edges in places, and I've had a little bit like weird bugs here or there. Nothing that like takes you out of the experience or out of the game. And we as as gamers and as the community, I think we got to get away from looking at these little tiny things and not looking at the sum of what these entire experiences are. And I got to tell you, man, this is it, man. Game of the year. I'm sorry, Death's Door, but this is the most
superseded, huh?
Speaking on that, actually, Game Informer announced that Halo Infinite was their game of the year.
Whoa.
As they should. And listen, and again, just think of new story content in this game and them bringing in other people from Halo lore, right? Imagine when Locke first touches down on Zeta Halo, right? Imagine when whatever
2 years from now either.
Right. Whatever Lasky had Team Blue doing, imagine they come in, and that's what I mean? And they're trying to look for Chief, or maybe they got there before Chief did. Who knows? Like all these are things that they can do here, and the future is so bright. Like, hey, think about this, man. Halo is back.
Can I add something real quick?
Sure,
please do.
We all know that this Halo Infinite, they're gonna keep adding more content to it, to that campaign too. I hope that I don't know because I haven't finished it, so I don't know. This is no spoiler. I don't know if the Flood is here or if they're not. If they're gonna add them later on, but I hope if they do add them on when they do come, they just tease us with maybe a ship is coming or something like that, but they don't tell us that the Flood is coming, and that when we actually get to play the game and we actually get to experience the Flood, we don't even know that they're coming, that they're here, and we get that experience because that's. I feel like that would be
that CE experience where you kind of go in and it kind of flips to a horror game. But I have no idea. I haven't beat the game, but the Flood gets brought up, but I don't know if they're on the.
Oh, they get spoken about later on. Yeah. I just haven't, as far as I know, I don't. I like I said, I've heard rumors that they're in the game. I don't know how much.
Spoilers. Don't go there.
No, I have no idea whether or not they're in the game or not because I haven't made it that far. Like I said, I'm doing all the side stuff, so I've heard them mentioned short in conversation, but I haven't seen any of them.
But boom, you know what they mentioned right next to that? There are worse things than the Flood. Which
they sure did.
Who the hell knows what that is? So,
well, listen,
we're in for a treat.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, folks, this has been a 2.5 hour show, which I expected it to be that long. I want to get to outros. Mag obviously had to bounce. He had some work related stuff to take care of, so you can catch Mag on tomorrow night's Noof Nukem a podcast, Gaming After Dark. I believe that goes at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after Dealer's show tomorrow. And of course, let's get to the outros. We're going to start first with our two very special guests. Bango Mango, by all means, brother, please sell your brand. Tell everyone about your incredible podcast and how you are looking to become the ambassador, the Xbox ambassador of Hawaii.
Oh man, hey, again, Boom. I appreciate it. If Mag was here, he mentioned that I'm wearing undershirts in Hawaii. This is just normal clothing. We can't at 64 degrees, and you guys may hate me for this. At 64 degrees, Hawaii people are freezing. So shout out to all the thick-skinned brothers out there that can handle. But as my shirt says, dude, all I want to bring up inside here and within this space, and which I believe I said on the last time in this show, is just some aloha. We translate that to love. We translate that to just unconditional friendship amongst other people. And so that's what I want to bring into the gaming space. And definitely want to represent the people of Hawaii in that. You can catch me on Twitter at the name right over here, Bango Mango 91. That's my personal account. But I represent the podcast, Talk Story Podcast, which you can also catch on Twitter at Talk Story Pod HI. Again, shout out to Boss Man Wandering Dutch. I just got to get used to the name, bro. I'm going to start calling you that from now on. For again, inviting us. We are also part of the Mix Up Midweek Collective, and we are not the only ones. There's a tons of other great content creators within that collective, so be sure to check them out, and lots of exciting things come 2022. I want to give a personal shout out to you, Kei Asante. Thank you for letting our brother Blind Giant.
Oh yeah, we had so much fun, man. We had so much fun. I understand y'all couldn't make it. It was cool. He represented you guys perfectly. It was great. You had a great
Amen,
time.
Dude. Amen. And we will hit it up again come 2022, whether on yours or ours, 100%.
All good. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm blessed to be a part of this panel. I'm blessed. This is like Sarblo was saying earlier. It's kind of surreal to start off as a small podcast and have such great pillars of the community like Dutch, Asante, Everborn, and Boom. Just have voices be heard. So I will always be thankful of that. And it's something that has inspired me within my podcast to just pay it forward in the same way that you guys pay us forward. So really excited, and shout out Sarblo will cover it, but super excited, brother, to what you guys have coming with Xbox International, which is what I believe their podcast XBI stands for.
Yes. So. Yep. And that's amazing. Again, getting people from around the world to get together to talk about their favorite console, which of course is Xbox, and that's 100%. Amazing. With Bango, it was great to have you back on the show, and cannot wait to see what you and your guys do moving forward. Sour Blow Gaming, same as before, brother. Sell your brand. Tell everyone about Xbox International, and where can people reach out to you and strike up a conversation on social media?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. Yes, Xbox International is a podcast that's coming January. We're starting it soon. Our brother Crazy Louis is going to be there, the crazy one. We're also going to have Mr. Joanna Dark, and our brother Brian Hopkins. It's also going to be there. And
nice. That's a great lineup, dude. Great lineup.
Indeed.
Yeah, they're great guys, and they're all we're all from different areas with different ideas, which makes it even more interesting. So follow Crazy Louis Gaming. It's going to be on his channel, YouTube. And you can follow me on YouTube, Sour Blow Gaming. I have a Spanish-speaking channel. We do a podcast also called Gaming Lobby. And on Twitter, you can follow me, SourBlow18. And that's also my Xbox gamer tag.
Excellent, brother. Well, listen, we love the work that you're doing in the community. Cannot wait to see what your team brings to Xbox International come January. And of course, it was great to work with you for the first time. And hopefully we can get that sub count up for you. Kei Asante, brother, by all means, talk about your Saturday podcast, which is going on hiatus, by the way, for the remainder of the year, coming back strong in January 2022. But I believe you said that you're going to be doing some on the reels, and there's a lot to talk about because you know you got Spider-Man, you got Matrix. There's a lot going on in cinema. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about it, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Thank you. So yes, we had the last Gaming Circle podcast last Saturday. Thank you so much to Pixelbit G in the chat. We call him the lore master. You need some Halo lore? Go to that man. He has you covered.
I knows his
the lore
stuff.
master, and he stands for no BS in the lore.
He's probably going to be on the reel every week when that Halo show drops.
When that Halo show hits, indeed, yes. And we had Umbra show up. We had another community member. Logical was in there. Of course, Slow Mo had to make his presence well felt. It was great.
Slow Mo the hater.
you should.
I don't know who's more slanderous. Is it Everborn Saga or Slow Mo?
I love it. I just love getting them in the room and just grabbing the popcorn. It's a beautiful thing. It was so much fun. We had like a 4.5 hour podcast, the longest we've ever had. Enough to end the year. We appreciate it. We will be back in 2022. But it's been real fun. If you haven't checked out the show, please go ahead and do so. This last episode has seen a lot of good views, so I appreciate those who have checked it out. So as Boom has aptly pointed out, we will be also doing some on the real stuff. I'll let Everborn get into details, but I'm expecting we're going to be doing some specialty episodes as our favorite movies come out. So expect some Matrix talk, expect some MCU Spider-Man talk, things like that. But until 2022, you'll catch us still doing a few episodes here and there as the need arises. But we'll be back in 2022. I suspect probably the first or the second week of January we'll come back, possibly with upgrades. As the Matrix does, we'll come back with upgrades. And so we appreciate all y'all who continue to rock with us.
That was a quote from Reloaded, the best Matrix
here
movie.
we go.
Oh boy! All right,
well, I agree with Everborn.
Oh
no, and to be truthful, like story wise, he does have a point, but we'll leave that for all the real. But yes, TKO Asante everywhere. You can find me. Keep up with my goings on, and you'll see us in 2022 again. Thank you guys so
Absolutely,
much.
brother, and thank you so much for that. And of course, Wandering Dutch, obviously you guys have decided to take off the remainder of the year as well, catch up on gaming, recharge those batteries. Double Barrel Gaming only has a couple more shows left in it. I think there are a total of 3 plus a bunch of the X vlogs, because we're human too, so we got to catch a break, enjoy the holidays. By all means, brother, talk about what you got going on next year. Talk about the channel, and of course, your big review of Halo Infinite coming with the 4K 60 footage.
Yes. So yeah, this week actually is our last episode of the year for the podcast.
You're going out with a bang too. You got some great guests.
We're going out with a bang. Yeah, we've got both King David from ILP and EG Jeremy Penter as our special guests this week. So going out with a bang. So we're going to be talking the panels, Halo Infinite reviews, the Game Awards, kind of breakdown, and then wrapping up, taking a look back at an awesome year for ourselves, and of course the collective as a whole as well, which we've brought together. Of course, we started the year only having, I think, just one in the collective or 2 shows, and now we have 7 or 8 creators in there.
Nice.
Which is awesome, and obviously next year it's just going to get even better. We're just going to make sure every one of them shows has the best possible tools available for them to grow as much as they possibly can, and in the best way for their respective communities. But yes, so the big show, of course, on Wednesday, as usual, the Midweek Mix-Up podcast with ACG and King David. And then on the weekend, which I'm looking forward to the most, my 24-hour charity live stream for Macmillan Cancer, which is cancer support in the UK. So that one's going to be tough. We've got some awesome people that are standing ready to sit through the full 24 hours with me and play some awesome games and grind through it. But of course, anything to help people that are battling cancer, help them. Of course, be a bit more comfortable. Of course, not this specific charity are those that help support those that have got cancer, as opposed to try and help relinquish it, making them feel a little bit more comfortable whilst they're going through chemotherapy, helping them with financial circumstances, any questions, queries that they may have, looking after them whilst they're going through their chemotherapy. So everything in between. It's an awesome charity, and there's a lot of people that are thankful for the Macmillan team and their nurses and staff as well for the support that they give their families. So we want to give back to that. Of course, everyone's affected by cancer. Well, in one way or another, whether or not that be yourself, family members, friends. So it's a big thing for us. And that's the big end for our year. So the big podcast followed by that 24-hour charity stream, and then that's us done for the year. So would obviously massively want the support and hope that we get the full support of the community for that. There's a big thing for us. So massive shout out to everybody in this panel. It's been an awesome day today.
Yes.
Loved talking about Halo with everybody here. It's awesome to hear everyone's enthusiasm about the franchise again after that Halo 5 mishmash of campaign that we all had so many mixed feelings about.
Yep.
Halo's back, and the enthusiasm and love that the community's showing the franchise again has been second to none, and hearing everybody's stories, not just on this panel, but in the community, has just been phenomenal. But awesome show. Awesome to meet Sourblow. Mango, you're an awesome dude anyway. I love you, bro. brought you and your brothers into the community for a reason. You're doing an amazing job, and your outlook on everything is tremendous, and that's exactly what everybody needs these days.
Yep, 100%.
Thank you, Papa Dutch. Thank you, Boss Dutch. Appreciate you.
But yeah,
testing out the names.
Awesome night. I am so much looking forward to coming back again next week and speaking with your awesome community, Boom, and the PTG crew. Again, you're a family.
Yes,
so
and we think of that of you as well, my brother. Yes. Well, yeah. Next week will be our last show of the year. We are obviously going to just go steamrolling into the holidays. I'll be giving a full list of all the final shows of the year. Like I said on today's video, I'm going to be dropping in a couple of X vlogs because I don't need a panel to do that. I can do that alone. So you guys and gals have something to listen to during the holidays. I'll be dropping in there. I'm going to try and do 2 a week during the 2 weeks that we take off, so you have something to listen to. But we last but not least, Everborn Saga, brother. By all means, sell your brand. Tell everyone where they can hear the Slanderous One this Thursday on the Reel, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Well, no one will be hearing On the Reel this Thursday because it is my birthday, and
well, happy birthday! Well, there you go. You take off. Absolutely.
I am going to see Spider-Man: No Way Home on Thursday.
Good for you.
On Friday, we will be doing a very special episode of On the Reel. And by the way, since there was some people questioning my factual statement that Reloaded is the best, I have just included a link to one of the episodes of On the Reel where I broke down why Reloaded was the best Matrix. So that is the link to the Everborn Saga channel. Please, there's 124 of us in here. And if you're not subscribed to the Everborn Saga channel, it is a channel where every week myself, Mr. K. Asante, and my brother, and sometimes often King David, come on, and we talk about the news of the day in terms of comic books, movies, books. We're trying to get Rand on there when Wheel of Time finishes, because he's a Wheel of Time guy. Slow-mo's on there every now and again when he wants to apologize for Dune. So come check us out, but also check out everbornsaga.com, where you can get the comic books that we can produce. Because I don't just talk about comic books, I make them as well. And it's the whole Everborn Saga. We're basically building our own MCU, but it's a manga and it's also fantasy. It's really cool. And Everborn Saga on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Oculus, you name it, wherever else, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Everborn Saga, everywhere. Check me out. But again, Neo, I see you in the chat. We got to get you on the Reel one of these days, maybe to talk about Spider-Man. Sure. And again, check out the YouTube channel and subscribe, please.
Neo GameSpark, we got to get him back on the panel for sure. A gentleman, community member. But listen, folks, that one of
you see Leo's comment?
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh.
It is quite. First, this
Looking
man hyping up Sonic games, and now he says it's fraudulent
Most
nonsense.
anticipated game of 2022, Sonic
Oh, boy.
Frontiers. I said it and I meant it. And I'm
You should
still
hear
not
how-
playing GTA 5.
You should hear how Slow-Mo shut him down. It was hilarious. Like I got a clip on.
That was on
You mean
Saturday show.
You mean how he ran away when he couldn't defend the
He
nonsense
shut you
he
down,
said?
player. He shut you down real quick.
Absolutely not.
Well,
I
listen,
disagree.
folks, before we move into the 3-hour realm, which would be ridiculous, I want to get everyone out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We went up against some stiff competition on other channels today with certain guests that they had. I mean, they're all powerhouses. And again, YouTube is a vast pool of incredible talent. And I just want to thank the over 300 people that came here today to hang out with us. And of course, I want to thank all the incredible gifts that were donated by several people within this community. And congratulations to all the winners. And of course, thank you to the incredible amount of super chats. Those help us do these big giveaways. And one is coming up this Friday morning. It is Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And I'm going to be doing a list of the prizes. And quite frankly, it's a lot of stuff. Some physical, some mostly digital, but obviously we're doing it, and we do that thanks to the community's generosity. We turn these super chats around, and then we recycle them back into giving these big giveaways. And again, I'll be breaking that down in the next day or two. Of course, I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting Double Barrel Gaming, supporting everyone on this panel. And of course, I'll close out the show with something that is important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules. And I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you on the final show of 2021 next Monday on Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.